sometimes if you see, backyard setup, sometimes some of the best hockey is just right out in front of the house. So that's when you can make up your own games and play with your buddies and do your own things. And there's no rules. And that's what the Hudson Bay rules were. Well, out in the streets, all you got to worry about is.
All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get into it. We got puck drop in about 5 minutes, so let me give you the starting lineups for both teams. For the Red Wings, they're 16, 14, and 7 on the season. It's going to be Dylan Larkin, Michael Rasmussen, David Perron, Jake Wallman, and Ward Sider. Andrew Kopp, Jonathan Berggren with Lucas Raymond, Ben Schrott, and Filip Hronek will be on the second line defense. Joe Valeno, Elmer Soderblom, Dominik Kubalik with Oli Mana and Gustav Lidstrom. And then Pew Suter, Adam Ernie, and Oscar Sundquist will be on the fourth line. Magnus Hellberg will likely be in goal because it's a back-to-back as the Red Wings are coming off of the loss of the Florida Panthers, where they have lost 18 of the last 20 games against Florida. And now they got to match up against a top 5 team in the NHL, in the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know some fans will tell you that the sky is falling with the reintroduction there of Morgan Riley and TJ Brody, but it's simply not true. You got to go ahead and get your lines back in order and get the troops acclimated. So for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it sounds like this: Auston Matthews, Michael Bunting, William Nylander, Morgan Riley, and TJ Brody, John Tavares, Kelly Arncroft, Mitch Marner, Mark Giordano, and Justin Hull. It's David Camp with Alexander Kerfoot, Pierre Engvall, Rasmus Sandin, and Timothy Liljegren. On the fourth line will be Pontus Holmberg, Zach Aston Reese, and Dryden Hunt. Ilya Samsonov will likely get the start in that for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 23, 9, and 7. So you can say whatever the heck you want about the Maple Leafs as far as what you think they are and where they're going to be, the playoffs, everything else is concerned, but it's another ho-hum regular season so far with 39 games played. Thankfully for the Wings, they have 37, so they have a couple games in hand. They need to start getting some points here in this Eastern Conference as they're falling out of the race fast. But for the Maple Leafs, 23, 9, and 7, they're second in the Atlantic, going to the Boston Bruins, who still have the best record in the NHL, 34 and 4. Tampa Bay Lightning are just behind at 24, 13, and 1. If they had some of those extra games that didn't go to a loss and rather than OT loss, they could be in the same amount of points as Toronto, maybe even more. So that's what ends up happening with those OT losses. Let's pick up some, and Toronto Maple Leafs got 7. They only got 9 regulation losses. And as I scroll through that is the third fewest in the Eastern Conference, and that is the third fewest in the NHL. So I don't really see any complaints. On the other side for Detroit Red Wings, as we get between the Canadian and U.S. national anthem, as we get an original 6 matchup, Jacob Arana was just placed on conditional waivers to get more of a stint in Grand Rapids, as he's gone through the players' assistance program. Don't know when he's going to be able to make his return. Someone who did was Robbie Fabry. We'll see how he ends up playing. It is a back-to-back, so maybe he will be or will be not available. We'll see where that goes on the lines is concerned. And for the Red Wings, it's also probably Magnus Hellberg in net, and that's going to make life difficult. I wouldn't say Hellberg has been bad because he certainly hasn't been. He has a save percentage about 9-10, which is decent. But you're playing off a back-to-back, and you still have Alex Nedeljkovic in a conditioning stint. And Ville Husso was just coming off of some type of flu bug. So the goalie is very thin there for the Red Wings. And they've not played well over their last stretch of games. And you're talking about the difficulty that's upcoming in the schedule. You had Florida yesterday, you lost. You play Toronto now. You got the Winnipeg Jets on Tuesday. You have Toronto again, I believe, on Thursday. This is a hellacious part of the schedule. And for the Red Wings, they are, let's look at it, 7 points out of a playoff spot. They have 39. Islanders have 46. Caps have 50. Even though they have 5 games in hand from the Caps and 4 from the Islanders starting the night, if you don't start getting a couple wins against some primo competition here, it's going to be one of those situations where we thought about it. That's where the Red Wings kind of started to fall apart in the 2022 portion of the season. Now maybe 2023 from the last year's side in January, where that was kind of a bugaboo. And now kind of is again. So you got to be able to get these wins when you can get them. I know it's a big-time matchup. Red Wings have been decent off the back-to-backs. I believe they're 4-1 off back-to-backs. But still, this is the Maple Leafs. It's a whole different test. I understand if the Wings were more healthy across the season, maybe they would be able to reverse some of these fortunes. But as it is, it's going to be tough to do. So we're going to be getting underway in puck drop. It is Magnus, Hellberg, and Ilya Samsonov. So at least I got that right as we're underway. You could probably catch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle on the Hockey Night Canada stream. If you follow on the Twitter Space and the YouTube site for myself with John Reinott, I humbly appreciate it. I'm a glutton for punishment this week. This has been a rough stretch of games. I saw five pole goals on Tuesday between Igor Shesterkin and Peter Kochekov. Then we watched Canada win the gold medal over the United States in the game where United States had to take bronze. They beat Czechia for the gold, and now I have to watch the Red Wings probably get pummeled by the Maple Leafs. So this has indeed been a glutton for punishment type of week. I promise that next week is going to be much better as far as some of the situations. We'll get some college basketball and some NBA in. As far as an NHL debut of a jersey and some teams we haven't covered yet this year. So we're underway on the puck drop now as the NHL has their brazen fan vote right now toward the middle of it as they've selected their starters. And on the other side, it'll be Mitch Marner for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Dylan Larkin will be the automatic in there as they have one member from each team in the all-star spot. So Justin Hall will get there toward the icing side, so everything cannot change with 1930 in this first. So I will make sure that I get my arena name correct, and I will load this ESPN box score momentarily as this gets set up. You can also follow this game. I got the Valley Sports Detroit feed from the local Michigan side for myself. We're at Scotiabank Arena. You can also catch the game on NHL Network or ESPN Plus or CBC side. So it's been made available everywhere for those to be able to watch or listen, but I appreciate you following along. So Berggren, try to get this around Matthews. And now Sider, trying to work his way to the right side dot as Marner gets taken down, and immediately there's a hand in the air. So the Red Wings will have to go to the box, and this is not the start that they wanted. And you can ask me, John, why do you consistently try to broadcast Red Wings games against good teams when you know they're going to end up getting pummeled? It's one of these situations for me, guys, that I'll throw out there, to be honest with you. I want to see what this team can do against other good teams. That's why I want to watch, especially for my own team. How will they match up from year to year to year as Yzerman continues to build this squad? That is my message. That is why I watch. So this is going to be a penalty against the Red Wings. And on the box score side, we'll see if that gets pulled up. It's Moritz Seider, 2 minutes for tripping William Nylander. As the Maple Leafs get underway on their first power play, Red Wings will immediately flutter this one down the zone. This touches the goal stick of Ilya Samsonov. And we got about 1:45 left to go on the Maple Leafs' first power play is really underway. It's 18:45 left to go in the first. No shots just yet, but you imagine that there's going to be some. As Auston Matthews gets the drop pass and gets the entry. John Tavares will get this across. Nylander. Now Tavares toward the right wing side. As this goes back to Bunting. Now Matthews left wing side. Going to hold. Back pass. Pick it up here for Marner. Slap shot gets deflected toward the left side boards. Auston Matthews can collect. Marner will hold and leave it for the captain, John Tavares. Tavares now near the right side dot is Toronto very patient behind the net. Here's Matthews, and he just missed short side with the wrister. Matthews, Nylander gets back up. Marner with a bomb that goes off of the stick of Hellberg and picked up now by Matthews. Nylander, Matthews for the left side dot will drop it in the high slot. They'll get it right back. Matthews tried to set it right up for Tavares. He had a screen in front of Hellberg. As now the Maple Leafs will keep this in easily. Hold their time. They've had it in this entire time. 35 seconds left to go on the power play, but they can't dispossess John Tavares of the puck. Dylan Larkin trying to make something happen now on his own end. He's been able to buy some time now. Skate down the left side wall. He breaks through. He gets toward the right side red line, so good job by Dylan Larkin anyway. He is the lone Red Wings all-star so far. Be able to kill some time there, about 25 seconds of the Toronto power play. That's looked very dangerous. So Toronto has it now. And they'll pass it back and get set up into the Scotiabank Arena Maple Leaf logo. So Pierre Engvall will leave this here for Rasmus Sandin. Now toward the left side wall. Leafs will collect. The Leafs have the all-blue jerseys. Red Wings have the road whites with the red pants, although they used to be the home jerseys for the longest time. And as a kid, that definitely messes me up seeing it on that side. I wish they'd go back to reverse on the Reds at home and the whites at home and the Reds on the road, but it is what it is. So now Morgan Riley gets sent across the red line. The Red Wings have successfully killed the penalty. Moritz Seider is back out on the ice right now trying to win a puck battle. But the Maple Leafs keep this toward the right side red line. TJ Brody toward the opposite side of the wing, but this puck gets deflected. It goes right into the breadbasket of Hellberg, and they'll hold on. So the Maple Leafs get the first 2 shots. The Red Wings kill the opening penalty against Moritz Seider there, and we'll see how this ends up going as we go along. Patrick, what's going on, buddy? You're able to watch Michigan State get a big-time win over Michigan on the basketball side, so you're feeling good here. And if the Red Wings somehow get a surprising result against the Toronto Maple Leafs, then this would be a heck of a weekend. I'm just trying to go for 1 for 2 for myself on that side. But again, Oakland University alum here. So this is picked up now in the own end as Zach Aston-Reese, the 4th line, sounds out there right now for Sheldon Keefe's squad. Soderblom trying to make life difficult here for the Wings. And now this goes to Jordan Osterley. So Ole Mata out there with Osterley now as this gets fluttered and gloved down by the hands of the Maple Leafs. Red Wings able to keep it in now. It's Joe Veleno out there with David Kemp as this gets knocked away. Jordan Osterley will take his time in his own end, put this down toward the left side of the red line. Kemp will hold it off the left side boards. Can't get it out of the end just yet as the Red Wings able to keep it in. It's Sundqvist off the 2-on-1. He elects to shoot anyway. Filip Hronek tries to launch one toward the right side. I was hoping Joe Veleno might drop that across to Hronek for a 2-on-1. He elected to shoot. 2 shots for Samsonov, able to stop them all. So fewest games to 500 points. We follow along the Valley Sports Detroit feed on the local site for myself. 445 games for Auston Matthews. And the next year going into the season, the question is whether or not Auston Matthews is worth to be a $10 or $11 million man. I think there is no question on that side. Toronto's going to have to pay for his services, and they want to keep him as a lifer there for the Leafs, and I imagine that he's going to be. So Ole Mata put this down deep as it touches the stick of Ilya Samsonov. And it was one of those ones for Kyle Dubas. It was just a, I think, 1-year proving ground deal for Samsonov, a 1-5, and he's been excellent for the Maple Leafs as far. Their goaltending in between Matt Murray and Samsonov not been too bad. And if the Maple Leafs fans tell you otherwise, it's because they're just highly, highly critical of their own team. Can't be too critical of a goalie that has about a .925 save percentage. So a neutral zone draw upcoming. It's Auston Matthews here for the Maple Leafs against Dylan Larkin. Larkin will win this one clean here for the wing wheel. Get this one down across the red side line. Again, you can watch this on Valley Sports Detroit, NHL Network, CBC Hockey Night in Canada. This is pretty much everywhere, but I appreciate you following along on Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side. Wallman's shot gets blocked. And this is going to be a race for the puck, but the Red Wings will win this across the red line. Dylan Larkin had to play this off of a crazy bounce off of a carom, and now this is an opportunity for the Maple Leafs to get this one down the ice, but Dylan Larkin will chop this ahead. He picked it up to the middle slot, and we'll see right now if Larkin's going to have to go take a change. Just 1 shot to 1 across the board. No goals just yet. It's been a feeling out process. And the Maple Leafs had 1 power play from a Moritz Seider tripping, but that's it. That's all right now. Hronek trying to get this out ahead. Now Lucas Raymond toward the left side wall. We'll just try to bank this to himself, and it's a battle right now. Michael Rasmussen out there with Raymond. It's a little bit of size out there with a little bit of finesse. But now this could be an opportunity for the Maple Leafs as it was Victor Mete. He would have been the lone guy. Thought the 2-on-1, but Kelly Arncroft just blows a tire. And the Red Wings now will get this across the red line and chip it in. As Raymond will play it. Ilya Samsonov almost fell behind his own net. Red Wings now have this toward the left side wall. And it's not really a good clear there by the Maple Leafs as Raymond still dances with it. It's set up for the 1-T, and it went off the right side of the wall, not the post. As this is picked up now by Pierre Engvall. Now the Maple Leafs will get this out. John Tavares out there right now with Morgan Riley. Riley is the one that's got it. Drop pass. Great setup for Kerfoot to Tavares, but he got denied by Hellberg. Right in tight. And picked up now by the Red Wings. Raymond just trying to get this out with the help of Joe Veleno. This touches the stick of Filip Hronek. Hronek Going to try to gain the entry. Dominik Kubalik is out there as well. Rasmus Sandin able to get around Hronek. A little bit of a cross check that was not called as Soderblom tries to find it with the help of Veleno. This is trapped toward the left side boards. Red Wings trying to keep this in. Over the last couple minutes, they had some possession. Kubalik will fire up the one-timers. It fell right to him. And that went up and out of play off the stick of Ilya Samsonov. We'll take a break. We're still scoreless. Red Wings lead on the shot board 2-1, but we're scoreless.
With Chunky Soup, lunchtime is your halftime. Drive into the new year in the Ford Edge. The 2022 Ford Edge comes standard with a large 12-inch touchscreen. Plus, every model also comes standard with all-wheel drive. Hundreds of vehicles are arriving daily, so you can choose from a great in-stock selection of vehicles. Returning Easy Plan trade-in customers can lease a 2022 Ford Edge for only $319 a month for 24 months. See your Southeast Michigan Ford dealer today and drive off in a Ford Edge for only $319 a month. Think Ford first. Connor's just finishing up. He's going to be pumped your hair.
So what's going on, guys? I appreciate you following along on the Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side. Again, I hope to see some yeses on that side toward the chat side. Do you enjoy original six matchups? I'll just leave it as an easy question there on that side, as it's the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. Again, you're probably watching with their broadcast with Steve Dangle with Watch a Leafs game. You can watch it on Hockey Night in Canada, CBC side. I got the Valley Sports Detroit side locally for myself, broadcasting from Michigan. So stick around and leave some comments on that end, as I humbly appreciate it. Again, you guys let me know on the YouTube side as well. How much do tickets run for nowadays, especially if you want to watch a matchup like this? I know for the World Juniors, it was $6,000 for the United States and the Canada matchup in the semifinal. So we'll see how this one changes as far as the NHL side. I have a few $100 anyway. Back in the official action right now, Joe Veleno. Trying to pin this toward the right side boards. Justin Hall got around him. This is picked up now by Osterley. Osterley through the screen. There was all sorts of traffic, but the Red Wings will find it. Toward the forehand, Kubalik will spin. He's got it now near the right dot. Veleno lost an edge. David Camp trying to pry it away here for the Maple Leafs, and he does now. Make the pass ahead as they'll get this across the right side red line. Canceled off, though. Elmer Soderblom able to get a piece of it. And now Veleno will spin. He'll pass this back off the inboards. Another one-timer as that one goes wide and hits the left side boards. Veleno misses his check. David Camp really can't get it out just yet. And now they finally do to the Maple Leafs and Pierre Engvall. Engvall will dump this one in now as Hellberg will take a look toward the left side post. Moritz Seider will find it here. And now this is picked up by TJ Brody. He's got it toward the right side dot. Maple Leafs trying to find this puck as one of the Red Wings falls down. It's toward the right side dot. A power move off the backhand, but it goes just wide. Now Dryden Hunt, who was just picked up about a week ago on the other side for New York, now a Toronto Maple Leaf, he lost it. So Red Wings can take their time. Moritz Seider in behind the office right now of Hellberg. He's got it toward the left side face-off dot as Red Wings look to break out left to right. We'll dump this in across the red line where you can safely do so without an icing. As it touches the stick of TJ Brody. They've been all over him over the last couple of minutes there as Red Wings have some forecheck, but they've not been able to get shots on goal just yet. 11:25 left to go in the first. It's 3-1 in favor of the Wings. And now it's all alone there for Soderblom off the pass, and he just waited for reinforcements that took too long to get there. Oskar Sundqvist now pinned against the right side wall. Jonathan Berggren out there as well as this gets fluttered down. Filip Hronek will go all the way back to retrieve it as he's got it near the right side dot. But 11 minutes left to go in this first. Scoreless at Scotiabank Arena. It's a back-to-back for the Red Wings. It's a tough one at that. They just lost to the Florida Panthers last night. Now they got to play the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs will have a back-to-back tomorrow against the Flyers. Red Wings make a power move toward the right side wall as Ben Sherratt was trying to buy some time. And in the same spot, the puck goes with Jonathan Berggren. Larkin has it now in behind the office of Samsonov, but sticks are all over him. And now Michael Bunting will race. He's a second-year man. He's 26 now, but he's a second-year man technically. As this is picked up by the Wings, Berggren will make the pass across. Larkin was looking for the backhanded feed, but the Red Wings didn't skate for the 2-on-1 side. And now this could come quickly the other way. And the high slot, great move by Marner. Tries to put a pass through, but it goes toward the right side boards. And now a penalty upcoming. And I figured this was going to be the case. Jake Wallman is going to plead his case. He's going to go back to the box. And it's going to be the second power play upcoming when we come back from the commercial break for the Leafs. So Jake Wallman will sit in the box. 10-12 left to go in the first. It's the second power play for the Maple Leafs. Only one shot on that power play. So we'll see what ends up happening on this one. You can't give Toronto too many opportunities. They're batting about a 1 for 4 right now, about 25%. So it's pretty good numbers right now. That's about exactly where you want to be, just a little over 20%. So Marner will collect. Auston Matthews now has just got flubbed, but it can't be cleared out. And now hands are up in the air again. And is this going to be a penalty against Auston Matthews for tripping? Yes, it is. So Mickey Redmond had mentioned it toward our local side of the broadcast that the Jake Wallman penalty might have been one that was a little bit And now for Auston Matthews, to be honest with you, I didn't see him do anything to knock down Andrew Kopp. And Auston Matthews is going to go to the box as Sheldon Keefe's got a little bit of smile on his face and says total BS as you're reading his words across his mouth if you're following along on the broadcast. So I would agree with that on both sides. I don't think either one of those should have been penalties, but now it's going to be a 4-on-4 for about a minute 52. And then the Red Wings have an abbreviated 8 seconds left to go on a power play, which will technically be their first. Picked up now toward the right side wall. Andrew Kopp trying to pry it loose. We'll see what the Red Wings can do on a 4-on-4. And Andrew Kopp made a right idea with the back pass, but it couldn't find Olimata. So minute 30 left to go on the 4-on-4. Still 3 shots to 1. Not a lot going on in this first period. Now I'm very surprised. It's been a feeling out process considering with the Maple Leafs. And the way that the Red Wings have played over the last few games, you think that this would be corporal punishment on live TV. Bunting will fake this one here for Riley, now to Brody. Brody will get this across the right side red line here as Nylander will be patient. He's going to hold. And the Maple Leafs can play this however they want to. Even on the 4-on-4 side, you can make it feel like a power play with the personnel that they can put on the ice. So 9:05 left to go in the first. Nylander finds his entry. We'll leave it here for Rasmus Sandin. Sandin off the Liljegren pass. He hit it too hard off the embankment. You got to go back into the neutral zone now. Sandin will find it. Another cross-ice pass. Good setup there. Be a walk-in chance for Nylander, and he missed the net. Red Wings dodge a bullet there as Dylan Larkin gets us across the red line side. They'll find it toward the right side as Sherratt overskated it. Sider now will hold. Good setup there inside for Larkin in the middle of the slot, and Samsonov found the answer. Now we will get an official break. Come right back. We'll finish this 4-on-4 in a moment.
Coming to downtown Detroit. For a lot of us, spring marks new beginnings, a chance for a fresh start, a chance to be part of something big for yourself. Maybe the race takes you 40 minutes, maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it's a little bit longer. But they think about the pleasure you'll feel once you cross the finish line.
Registration now open for the Ironman the D5K, May 6, 2023 at America Park. For details, visit website.com/IronmanTheD.
This game break is brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. As we have continued our evening here at Ozzy's place, the rink outside, and we have moved inside. Ozzy so lovingly calls the shack. How did this happen? This structure that has cable television and a microwave and a fireplace.
So it's really neat on the local coverage for the Red Wings side. You know, you'll get a lot of Sportsnet feeds or Hockey Night in Canada and things like that. They're showing Chris Osgood in the shack that they had set up there with a little bit of part of the broadcast carrying the feed. So it's pretty cool on that side. So 15 seconds left to go on the 4-on-4. It's still scoreless right now. Mark Giordano will get this across the offensive zone as it's trying to get picked up there by David Kampf. Red Wings will overskate, and Giordano got one more time to get this. So it's going to be an 8-second power play, but it's going to be Toronto puck possession. So that's going to essentially cancel out anything for the Red Wings, but it's a chance right out of the box. Scores! Red Wings cherry picking. Jake Wallman puts the Red Wings up, and that was a perfect design. Jake Wallman did not leave his spot. He comes right back out of the box. It's a chance off the 4-on-4, and the Red Wings capitalize, and the Toronto Maple Leafs probably fell asleep a little bit, but Wallman, very smart about where he was going to be on the ice. Breakout pass. He's all alone toward the left wing side. It's a one-on-one. He skates in between the circles, lets the wrist shot go. He's not going to do the gritty right now, but Jake Wallman, the defenseman, with a big-time goal for the Red Wings, gives them a 1-0 lead. So very opportunistic was Jake Wallman. But the Maple Leafs have kind of been sleepwalking through this first period, and I can't imagine it's going to stay that much longer. So Larkin's bid gets deflected. It bounces off the body of Riley, takes a friendly bounce for the Wings wheel. As Perron will try to keep this across the red line side. Sider will collect now with Larkin. It's David Perron as one of the Red Wings will fall down. Still makes a play from his knees with Jonathan Berggren. And Perron able to save this here to Sider, but he hit this across the left side wall. Red Wings now have all sorts of puck possession. Here's Perron. Larkin flubbed on the 1T. This is picked up now by David, but he's canceled off toward the right side wall, trying to make a play from his knees in his own end, the offensive end at that. And this gets cleared back down. So here's a chance now for Hronek. Able to take his time. The Red Wings just scored. Right out of the box was Jake Wallman. They found him with an outstretched pass. It was Olimata with the primary as it caught the Maple Leafs off guard. It's going to be icing, though, against the Wings. 5-1. And again, I say this with very bated breath as a broadcasting from the Michigan side. I don't know if the Red Wings are going to be able to hold on to this for much longer. This has been a throwaway period for the Maple Leafs. I think even the fans will tell you that. I'm just trying to be as kind as possible. But again, this is a team that the Maple Leafs should be able to stomp all over with the mudhole stomp, the Stone Cold Steve Auston. But we'll see what ends up happening. It's a good start for the Wings. They played decent defensively, but I would counter and say the Maple Leafs haven't done much offensively. They've had a couple power plays and only had one shot to speak of. And a 4-on-4 kind of canceled off part of that time as well. They had one full and about 30 seconds of another. So Kampf will get this one down. Outstretched pass, Berggren. Red Wings want an icing. They're not going to get one. Hellberg had his stick up in the air. Now John Tavares, the captain, will touch. But this might have been blown dead with a hand pass. 6:30 left to go in this first. 5-1. Wings get on the board first. It was 6:30 in the opening frame. And if Cooper Hopkins was able to join me tonight, I'd have a little bit of excitement. I thought about maybe doing the 10 o'clock game between the Golden Knights side of it and the LA Kings. A little bit of a headache and all that stuff. I was trying to work out, take a shower, get all stuff set up, all that stuff passed now, so I feel a lot better on the side. A little bit of the migraine all the way across, but it's kind of gone away now. I think I'd feel a little bit better if I get the road team a win here, but we'll see what ends up happening. There's so much time left. It's kind of like how it was against the United States, Canada, when Canada came back, scored 6, and got the buzzsaw. Kind of what I feel like the Maple Leafs could do. So Giordano, get this across the red line side as Hronek's being hooked a little bit, held as Rasmussen toward the left side of the red line. Zach Aston Reese will try to pry this loose here for the Maple Leafs, and Aston Reese was taken down in front of the referee, no call. So that's pretty interesting on that side, as it's been pretty loose. Hronek, a lot different than the IHF over the last few days, no doubt about that. So Hronek can't get it out. Mark Giordano will keep this blue line toward the left side. Gets blocked there by Andrew Kopp. Kopp, nice job, able to take his time. Makes a pass off the embankment of Hronek. Hronek will just get this a little bit closer across the red line. Now Maple Leafs take their time. Giordano with the outstretched pass bounces up in the air, glove down by Wallman. Wallman will get this pass and pick it back up. Now toward the left side of the red line. We'll get it down as Joe Veleno trying to find it with the help of Dominik Kubalik. Kubalik stuck toward the right side. Morgan Riley. I'm just trying to get this one to David Kemp. Riley will collect and toward the right side dot, but overskated. It was Pierre Engvall. Could add an opportunity. Red Wings will chip this across the right side wall, but Osterley couldn't find it. And now this goes back to Morgan Riley, as this will be skated back down from the help of Kerfoot, and the Maple Leafs can look to break out right to left. We'll play a pull-tight pass that goes off toward the left side boards as this gets picked up by Auston Matthews. Nylander shooting short side. Red Wings desperately got to get this out now as Oli Mata stuck toward the right side boards. He's out there with Osterley. Mata's still with it, though. And he flips it down expertly over 3 Maple Leafs. Good work there by Oli Mata. As this is picked up now, Perron will get this across the red line as it touches the stick of Ilya Samsonov. Riley, outstretched pass. Nylander now. Nylander holding off of the forehand side. Good setup there for Matthews, but he had to find it in between his skate as this can't be held across the blue line. Timothy Liljegren will have to go back and check up. 4 minutes left to go in the first. Red Wings get this across the red line. Berggren by himself, trying to win a puck battle as he's trying to get around Rasmus Sandin, but he can't do it. Sandin holding up the forehand line, held against the right side wall. It's loose there for Sundqvist, trying to tap it. Sundqvist has it now toward the right side wall. A little bit of a redwood tree as Oscar Sundqvist, about 6'4", shot in through the screen right in the catching glove of Samsonov. 3:39 left in the first. You get immediate timeout. Come right back.
We're doing stickers. We did the water park yesterday. You didn't invite me? We did next week.
Just going to do a little bit of a scoring reset as we hit the little commercial break. So, story is going to be at hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com, just like you know if you follow any of these streams on that side. So we will have that once this game is done. Probably be a little bit later tonight because I'm going to type in some football games toward the playoff side to get that stuff done, and also grab a little bite to eat when this is done because I haven't even had breakfast or anything yet. Got a little bit of a late start. Needed to catch up, having a little bit of a late night.
October 30th of 21, Joe Veleno needed a driver. Steve Eisenman. Drove him in from Detroit. There that night, his second National Hockey League goal and his sixth NHL game. I guess you could say you got some pretty good advice from the former captain. Yes, so. Yeah. Picked up his first career.
3:30 left to go in the first period. John out here with you on the call from Scotiabank Arena. We're at the site of the Maple Leafs. It's a 1-0 lead for the Red Wings, courtesy of a Jake Wallman goal. As we get a offside entry with 3:26. So you can catch this game all over the place. Catch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle on the Hockey Night in Canada stream. You can catch it on CBC. In Canada, I'm watching the local Valley Sports Detroit feed because it's the only one that I can get right now being here in Michigan. It's a big-time matchup against the original six side. Again, there's a lot of panic toward Maple Leafs fans as they're always in the news cycle in the sense of as they're trying to restructure some of their defensive sides as Morgan Riley, TJ Brody come back in. Not been as sharp as they would like to be. This is probably a throwaway period for them at this point. They're like one shot in this first period. However, there's still a top 5 team in the NHL as far as points are concerned, still second in the Atlantic. There is no panic on my side. But that is just me. I'm just not even trying to be diplomatic. There should not be. But there is a tripping penalty upcoming against the Maple Leafs as Oskar Sundqvist got knocked down. So this is an opportunity here for the Red Wings. I understand it's early, and I understand it's 6 shots to 1 on the board. But I really definitely think, as far as covering one of my own teams in a local assignment, haven't done this in a while. I always try to watch this against good teams. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment on that side, but you want to watch what your team will do against other really good teams in the league. I think this is a must score right now for the Red Wings. As Toronto's still trying to find their footing, I don't think you want to miss too many of these opportunities. Mark Giordano's put to the box 2 minutes for a hold. It's Sundqvist. So man advantage here for the Red Wings. They win the draw. David Perron going to take his time. Lucas Raymond toward the right side. Dot lost it. Couldn't get around with Albert Kubalik. And now picked up by the Maple Leafs. We'll see if they'll just flutter this one down. That's exactly what David Camp is going to do. 2:45 left to go in this first. About $1:35 left to go in the Red Wings power play. Technically, it's their second. The first one was only about 8 seconds of the 4-on-4. So really, if you're keeping score at home, probably 1 for the Red Wings, 1 for the Maple Leafs, so that any kind of full concern and variety to even get going as this one gets cleared down the ice again. It's going to be a race for the puck. Hronek will get to it as the Maple Leafs decided better then on that side with Yarncroc to not go too far ahead. So gain the entry. The pass is very sloppy across the right side wall. And again, a very easy clear for the Toronto Maple Leafs as it's a minute left to go on the Red Wings man advantage. 2 minutes left to go in this first. Glad you could join me from the Scotiabank Arena as we're watching Original 6 matchup between the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. Try to get fluttered around the right side boards. This is kept in nicely by Joe Veleno on the high slot. Red Wings try to make something happen. Set it up for a short side one-timer for Veleno. And that one was stopped by Samsonov toward the left post. Kept in now by the wing wheel. Spin move off the right side boards. Set up the one-timer for Veleno, but that was a little bit too easy to watch with the eyes. Not a lot of speed on it. Didn't get all of it. Still was stopped there by Samsonov. Now 8 shots to 1 in favor of Detroit. With the $1:36 left to go in this first. There won't be much of a reset that I will need to do because there's not much going on in this first period, to be honest with you, but we can probably flip around the league and take an inside look if you want, and I'll give you some scores on the NHL side. If Cooper Hopkins does join me, I'm not anticipating that he's going to because, again, the California side, it's only $4.50 for him. Maybe toward the third period, possibly, I would get him in here and watch this one. Maybe I can actually watch the Red Wings win a game when I've covered them this year. They have not won a game, although the Dylan Larkin play against the LA Kings from the beginning of the year was one of the most miraculous. Alexander Kerfoot. Nice toe drag ahead. He's going to walk right in against Hellberg. But the net gets knocked off. So Alexander Kerfoot, he was just trying to kill some time. Then all of a sudden he just says, what the hell? Let me put some of these moves on and see if I can put one of the Red Wings D in the dust. And absolutely, Kerfoot just skating his way toward the side, gets right around Jonathan Berggren, but he meets the left post and knocks the net off its moorings, and Magnus Hellberg be able to take a breath. So that shot never got to Hellberg, but his heart had to be beaten a little bit extra fast there. So 1:21 left to go, and now Jonathan Berggren, the reason why Kerfoot took the spill, he took a 2-minute for cross-checking. So 15 seconds left to go on a 4-on-4, and then the Maple Leafs will have the man advantage the rest of the way. Matthews will win it clean. It's 34, gets it back to 44. Morgan Riley. Matthews now holding on the left side wall, now sitting in the high slot, taking his time. Matthews works his way to the forehand. He's just going to look for a sauce pass. It gets deflected. Nice job there to knock it away from Matthews just in time. Always dangerous, whether or not Auston Matthews has the puck. He's a really good 200-foot player. Everybody knows about his goal-scoring ability, but very underrated as he's one of the best defensive forwards we got in the league. He can do a little bit of everything. William Nylander's shot goes to the left side of the wall. Picked up by the captain, John Tavares, trying to drop this back to Matthews as Marner keeps this alive toward the left side in the high slot. Tipped by Matthews off of the face mask of Hellberg. Good pressure there. Marner able to hold it, but the Red Wings will dump it down. 25 seconds left to go in this first. As this is picked up through the power play side, Marner off the backhand as they'll keep this along the wall. Matthews going to walk right in with a wrister. And that one goes high and up and on a plate. 16 seconds left to go in this first. 55 seconds left to go in the Toronto power play. As Jake Wallman has some words there from one of the Maple Leafs. He's feeling himself a little bit after that first goal, and I don't blame him. It was an electric one at that, but the Red Wings need to be able to continue to get some defensive pressure. I don't think there's been a whole lot. I just think the Maple Leafs have kind of shot themselves in the foot as they've kind of sleepwalked through this first. So Marner, and again, they can wake up at any time. Matthews passed a little bit too far. Tavares gets canceled off the left side wall. This hits off the right. Marner going to let it go to the screen. That's going to end this first period. It's a 1-0 lead for the Maple Leafs. Maybe they didn't even get the shot on goal off in time. Shot board now does read 8-2. That is what the totals are. It's a 1-0 lead for the Red Wings. When we come back, we'll start the second period in a moment.
Aghast and impressed by the fact that the Red Wings have only allowed the Maple Leafs one and then the second shot on goal late in the first period. How staggering is that? That a team that has that offensive firepower only had a shot on goal for almost all of the first period.
It's extremely shocking, especially because we know the weapons that they have up front. But is it surprising? No. The Wings are playing on the back-to-back, right? So early in this game, we knew they were going to have the rights, and it seems like they have them here more than the Leafs who haven't played since they played Seattle. So it's not surprising.
All right, Jake Wallman put the Red Wings on the board. We got all the kids on the ice, and once they learned that Jake Wallman scored for the Red Wings, did he do the great? Did he do the great? They all wanted to know that because that's how Jake Wallman's calling card. It was a sensational pass from Oli Mata. Take a look.
So it's a very quick reset for me to do in this first period. There really isn't much to tell you about. It was a Jake Wallman goal, 11:57. As Wallman right out of the box, he stayed open. He was wide open toward the left side of the red line. Oli Mata spots him with the pass. They catch the Maple Leafs sleeping. He just walks in between the circles and snipes toward the low side of the right bar. Gives the Red Wings a 1-0 lead. Shots are 8-2 after the first period. It's the fewest amount for the Toronto Maple Leafs in a period since 2005. And that was the year that I graduated high school. So it's been a long, long time since that situation. And you can say what you want about the Red Wings. I know Jimmy Howard did the local side of the coverage. Great goalie there for the Red Wings, but I don't consider him to be one of the top tier. And again, he's got the side on the Bally Sports Detroit side. Feel happy for him on that, but he's not the greatest analyst. He was saying that the Toronto's pretty not so sharp because they haven't played Seattle. It was a few days ago since they played. I just think they sleptwalked through that period. It's not about being sharp or not sharp. They got pasted by Seattle 5-1 the last time that they played. They've kind of been struggling a little bit on the D side to get things situated, but this could also be one of those situations. It's a malaise right now. Toronto has been really good throughout the entire year. There really isn't anything else you can say, regardless if you're a fan of the team or not. They'll find it, and I think they can easily find it in the second period. So the Red Wings need to be able to continue to do exactly what they're doing. I don't think they did much on the defensive end to hold them to 2 shots, but it's going to take that type of effort in order for the Red Wings to get this win. And like we said, schedule is going to be very difficult because upcoming here for the Red Wings, I'll just pull this up and then we'll go around the league and do a reset. So the full schedule, I'll have to scroll down a little bit on the ESPN side off a couple clicks. So it's going to be Toronto tonight. That's the game we're covering, and my coverage is going to be a little bit after, get a bite to eat once this stuff is done. Again, I don't even have breakfast yet. So it's going to be Toronto right now, and then Winnipeg on Tuesday. That's a big-time battle in the Central. And then Toronto again on Thursday at LCA. That game will be on ESPN. So Toronto, Winnipeg, Toronto, Columbus, Colorado is their next stretch of games. That's a very difficult stretch of games, even though Colorado has been a little bit banged up with injury. That is a gauntlet, and if the Red Wings want to get back into this playoff part of the standings where they're about 7 points out right now because the East has just been so hot, that's why the Metro side, even with the Capitals, about 50 points, they're in the first wild card. So they need to be able to beat good teams if they want to be able to continue this. And they're off to a good start, but they got 40 minutes left to go. So let's pull up this full scoreboard, and then I'll cut a little bit of my talking. So I'll go ahead and change games here as we'll take a little bit of a live look if we can get anything that's a little bit live. Let me actually, on the phone side, I'll pull up and see how much minutes are left to go in the intermissions, because all of them might be at the end of the first from what I'm looking at. So the Wild and Sabres will be able to come back, so I can flip that one for about 5 minutes. So I'll do that right now, and then we'll do a little bit of a league reset. So 1-0 lead for the Sabres. We'll catch that live in action for about 5 minutes, and then we'll flip back over to the Red Wings game. We won't miss anything. We got plenty of time within our intermission. Like I said, that was kind of my scoring reset already from Wallman, from Mata. There's not been much for me to say as far as the other side. I don't really need to make a full breakdown. It's not a lot to actually bring to you. So I'll flip up the Sabres broadcast side on ESPN Plus, and we'll take a look at it. The Red Wings have about 10 minutes left to go, or 12 minutes left to go in their intermission, so I'll check it at about the 8:10 marker. We should be good to go on that side. Won't miss anything. So let's take a look and see who scored for the Buffalo Sabres. Was it Tage Thompson? No, it was Victor Olofsson from Casey Middlestat and Rasmus Dahlin. 13 minutes in. It's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 9 saves for the Sabres. And Marc-Andre Fleury, 7 out of 8. He's a starter right now for Minnesota. Maybe that's where he's going to end his career. The Flyers had a really good one, a Hall of Fame one at that. The Blues and the Canadiens. It's 1-0 for St. Louis. St. Louis still trying to hold in that wild card spot in the West. Brandon Saad scored at the very last 34 seconds of the first frame. His 12th from Braden Shen and Ivan Barbashev. 1-0 lead against the Canadiens. Jake Allen stopped 8 of 9. Jordan Binnington stopped all 11 shots that he has faced. It is a 3-1 lead for the Seattle Kraken. Oliver Bjorkstrand, Jared McCann, and Justin Schultz are your goal scorers for Seattle. Brady Tkachuk from Tim Stützle and Tomas Chabot at 10:21. So already been a goaltending change. Anton Forsberg, I believe, was the starter according to ESPN. He gave up 3 goals on 5 shots. Cam Talbot is in relief. Martin Jones is the usual starter for the Kraken. He stopped 10 of 11. So good start here for Seattle. That's holding on to the 3rd spot in the Pacific Division, as that's going to be a wild division, as Cooper Hopkins can tell you that with his own team in Flames. So I will make an update to my story. I know Patrick is in here. I appreciate you listening, buddy. As far as I know, he talked about it a little bit toward the USA and Canadian broadcast, as we had Patrick and we had Alec in there, and some of the guys that might listen on the podcast side or the YouTube side. I was during the Christmas time when Cooper Hopkins was visiting with his family on the Seattle side. He's a proud Seattleite in Washington, Seattle. He was over there visiting family. He has to go between his wife between Orange County, California. He thought he sent me a message. He's like, I may be able to go to a Kraken game where I'm right next to the shop. I said, you know what? If you go to the game, try to snag me a Matty Beniers jersey. I know those things are about $2 now with the way that these jerseys are set up, and with inflation, that's what the Stevie Y jersey would be in my closet right now, considering those are the only 2 jerseys I got. So I got the Matty Beniers jersey. I got it yesterday. I put a picture there on the Facebook side. So proud U of M alum there on that side. So Beniers. So when I give Lauren, I can give her a U of M shirt when we go to Yost. I can take the Beniers jersey, and I can wear that one proudly without one probably spilling beer all over it, because I imagine with the U of M player, they can be happy with that, and I can wear that without getting busted. So I got the Beniers jersey. I'm going to make a debut with it on the stream on Tuesday. So the first assignment on Tuesday will be 2 teams I haven't even covered this year, and the Seattle Kraken and the Buffalo Sabres. So that should be cool. Toward the next week's side, So Tuesday will be that. Wednesday will be a college basketball matchup. It's going to be Alabama and Arkansas, 2 really good ranked teams that only have a couple losses on the season. Following day is going to be Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics on TNT. And then the weekend side, I think, will be an NHL game. I haven't pinned that one down. So we'll get some college basketball, and we'll get an NBA assignment to be mixed in with the Kraken jersey. All that stuff debut on Tuesday when we do the Kraken and the Sabres. So got the jersey. I've sent his check in the mail for it, so hopefully he ends up getting. He said that the mail carriers and everything else are a little bit unreliable. So I'm going to take a live look at this Buffalo-Minnesota game for a few minutes. We'll flip right back over there toward the Red Wings in about 5 minutes. We're still in the middle of the intermission. So it's like I said, it's going to be a really good day for Mr. Patrick Rush on the side of it. The Spartans knocked off the Wolverines in a good college basketball matchup. Again, Michigan's not been that great in the Big Ten. Michigan State's been a bit better on that side. I think probably these teams, if we're being completely honest with each other, maybe slightly above average. They're not the usual powers that they usually are right now. I know Purdue up the last week's side got their first loss. They were ranked number 1 on the Big Ten side. So we'll see how that ends up working, but I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it's Tom Izzo to be able to get that team in the tournament and figure things out as they go along. And for the Wolverines on that side for college basketball, you can say what you want with Hunter Dickinson, but he kind of really is the only guy. So it can make some things tough if you're not counting, let's see, the coach's son there on that side as far as Jet Howard. It's Hunter Dickinson, Jet Howard show, nothing more, nothing less. So we're going to see how that ends up going. So again, we got about a few more minutes, and then we'll flip back over to our originally broadcast game. I will get you the story there, hopelessportsguy.wordpress.com for the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. It's going to be a little bit later because I'll have to do a couple NFL type-ups. Obviously, I do the picks against the spread. I already got those in. I just do the type-ups. I haven't called an NFL game. Maybe as we get along toward a little bit later in the year. As the Wild just scored, they tied this at 1-1. But we get a little bit later in the year, maybe I'll try my hands. I might need some help there. Cooper Hopkins might have to help me with it as far as I'll just do the other stuff with the NFL game, maybe a soccer game, so it can broaden horizons. Like I feel comfortable with NHL, basketball, and baseball and college affiliate stuff, but for the NFL, that's really not my expertise. What's going on, Sean? How you doing there, boss? I appreciate you jumping in and out. We have about a couple more minutes, and we're going to flip back over to our game. So this puck that I'm looking at right now is we're going to live look in between the Sabres and the Wild. It was just sitting Lukanen is just sitting him toward the right side of the blue paint. And nobody ever picked it up until Minnesota got a stick on it and put it in the net. So it's 1-1. Take another official look here. I'll flip this back over because we got about 4 minutes left here.
Great time, and he's always cocked and loaded, ready to release that shot. All right,
So again, 8 shots to 2. We got about 3 minutes left here for the intermission side. 8 shots to 2. The only goal was Jake Woolman from holding Mata right out of the box. That's all there is. There really isn't much to tell you as far as the Red Wings side of it. But again, full game story is going to follow. Maybe a little bit later tonight. The over-under sits at 6.5. So I doubt that we, at this point, will get to that if it's not for a big second period surge that I would expect Toronto's going to be able to bring. But 6.5 looks a little dicey right now. I'm not much of a betting man, though, myself.
Listen up. We got a problem. A lot of you are skipping lunch like it doesn't matter. Well, this year we take a lunch. A hearty lunch. One with chunky soup. Chunky soup? Let's go! Let's go! Lunchtime is your halftime. Now is the perfect time to join the Wingfield Nation family.
I haven't been to LCA yet this year. I want to go. I was trying to get tickets for because my birthday is on March 22nd. I was trying to get tickets for the 19th game. I believe it's going to be on Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. There's going to be an early game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get tickets for it now, but I might try to get them a little bit and get them pretty soon. Try to take the fiance, myself, and probably a couple family there to go to the game. I know at that point, the Avalanche will probably be fully loaded as far as what they can provide on the team. And they're still kind of just getting Nathan McKinnon back. You had Kel McCarr the whole time with Mikko Rantanen, but that's about it. That team's been really banged up. Gabriel Landeskog hasn't been able to really make his return just yet.
Coming to downtown Detroit.
For a lot of us, feels scary. Mark's new beginning, chance for a fresh start.
A chance to be part of something big for yourself.
Maybe the race takes 40 minutes, maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it's a little bit longer.
And then I saw today, too, that Gregory Soto got traded on the Tigers side for Matt Vierling and a couple other baseball bags. So I know that there was fans that are very hot and cold on Soto, and I understand the amount of losses and he can be a little wild. But that was the best closer that the Tigers have, and they didn't get much for him. So the complete rebuild process for Scott Harris, the former San Francisco Giants assistant GM, now for the Tigers, that's completely started the rebuild side. So you got 162 games of baseball. I would expect the Tigers to be at the 62-100 mark. And if you want to go a little bit over-under on that side, I think your guess would be as good as mine. I would at least base it right there.
going to go the rest of this night for the Red Wings. They played last night. The Maple Leafs took yesterday off and skated this morning. The Red Wings did not. We got in pretty late last night, even though it was only coming from Detroit. Here to Toronto. Jake Walman with a goal out of the box and into the back of the net.
So we're going to get back underway here as the broadcast caught back up. It's showing a little bit of the Jake Walman highlight coming right out of the box. We've got about 30 seconds for a puck drop, I'd imagine. We're at Scotiabank Arena right now. John, I'm here with you on the play-by-play between the Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a game that I expected to go one-sided in one way, as it was my glutton for punishment week. But we'll see how it goes. We got 40 minutes left. The Red Wings got a 1-0 lead. So puck drop going to be getting underway here officially. It's a 1-0 lead for the Detroit Red Wings. Zooming in on Jake Walman, he's your lone goal scorer right now. As the Red Wings have the road whites nowadays, but Patrick and I still remember when the Red Wings would wear the red on the road and the white at home. It certainly trips me up as a young kid to be able to see that. I wish it would be reversed, but that is a small nitpick on my side. So unfair puck drop, and we will do it again. Toronto will begin this second period with an abbreviated power play as they get underway now. We'll get this across the red line. It will be a quick race for the puck. Mitch Marner will try to send it off in front off skates as this touches the stick of number 34, Auston Matthews. Going to take his time as he's in toward the high slot. You imagine Matthews going to get it back for the 1T, and that's exactly what happens. And now the Maple Leafs score. What a great design, whether that was missed intentionally or whatnot. Mitch Marner just waited toward the right post, waited like he knew the puck was going to fall right back there off the lively inboards at Scotiabank, and Marner ties this right up at 1. Again, I can't tell you that I didn't expect this, but that seemed like an incredible design, as I don't know how you could get a puck to bounce like that to go right back to Marner. Marner's just posted up toward the left side of in between the dot and the red line, and no chance for Magnus Hellberg to be able to make that save. None whatsoever. So no blame on him on that side. But that's a hell of a silly there for Marner as well, as he is the lone all-star right now for Toronto. A little bit of the fan vote. Dylan Larkin is the all-star for the Red Wings. And Marner makes it a 1-1 game now. So it's going to be a power play goal for Toronto. We just started this second period. It's only the third shot of the game. So Magnus Hellberg, 2 out of 3, 66% save percentage right now. So he's going to want to increase that one, is Mark Giordano. We'll get this now across the red line side. This gets picked up by the Maple Leafs. David Camp will turn it over. And now Kubalik with the help tries to go pick it up. And now it's a breakout opportunity for the Leafs toward the right side wall. Perron ball gets canceled off, and Larkin will flutter this across the red line. Maple Leafs will take their time. There are a lot of people right now at Scotiabank, as you would imagine. It's very nice between the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. All it really is a drive across the bridge on that side. Again, I mentioned this story a couple times when the Leafs and the Red Wings play each other. One of the games I did go to at LCA, I was with a Maple Leafs crowd that could not be any more friendly. It's been a good rivalry on that side as far as Original Six is concerned. Suter, this goes off the skate. Sundqvist tries to find it, but it bounces off the skate of Samsonov. It's a race for the puck that Magnus Hellberg will have to play off the inboards. Walman will get this one down. 18 minutes left to go in the second. We're tied at 1. The latest goal was Mitch Marner. It was Jake Walman for the Red Wings side. We'll see if the Red Wings can kind of patch the holes here, or if they can continue to keep a little bit of pressure, because it's kind of been an uneven game at times. 8 shots to 3. This is toward the right side of the crease, jamming away at it. Now Raymond will get this nice upper sider into the trap, because this gets blocked right to Jake Walman. Fortunate bounce there for Detroit, as there's a stick twig that's broken toward the right side of the dot. Holding off the left side wall is Detroit. Andrew Kopp will get this now here for Raymond. And it did bounce off the stick twig. And now, have to skate back out there, is Joe Veleno. There really wasn't anything you could do. You figured it would get right in the way. Kopp will gain the entry there for Kubalik. Kopp try to get there with Raymond as well. Raymond will get it back now to Walman. Walman hauled through the screen It's a friendly bounce. What a stop by Samsonov, Snow Angel. Red Wings still with it. Sider holding. Raymond taking his time. Now into the traffic. This goes off the glove handle of Samsonov and cleared down. That was a good shift there for the Red Wings, and that was awfully close. Samsonov made his biggest stop of the game so far. 16:35 left to go in the second. Long bomb pass. Gets deflected off sticks, and Zach Aston Reese will get this back in his own end. Kemp will spin. That's Rasmus Sandin now. Dangerous pass into the middle. Red Wings can find it there with Sherratt, but they got to go back. It's Filip Hronek. Has it in his own end now. 9 shots to 3. It's a 1-1 tie. Mitch Marner with the latest goal. And that was right at the beginning of the power play that Toronto carried over from that first. Sherratt enters as you get the goalies go chant from the Maple Leafs crowd as this is picked up now by the Maple Leafs in their own end. They'll look to break out left to right in this period. They got the all blue. The Red Wings have the white shirt with the red pants. This is picked up by William Nylander. Lets it go to the wrist shot. Picked up by Larkin. Good outstretched pass there by Larkin off the backhand as Jonathan Berggren tries to find it. Berggren canceled off the left side wall now. Perron will try to help out as he knocks the puck away from Justin Hall. Berggren also there as well. Michael Bunting in toward the left side wall, and now Kemp as big hit. One of the Red Wings are down, and that was Jordan Osterley as he gives a little bit of the shove, and the ref was looking right at it. No call, though. Still underway. Justin Hall has it. Gets it across the red line now. Good outstretched pass for the left wing side, and I'll put it around the embankment. Red Wings will try to collect. Bunting trying to make life difficult off the clear for Olli Maatta. Kept it across the red line now. Larkin got hit up in the head as this is picked up back by Maatta. Larkin, nice entry toward the left wing side. Going to fire it short side, and that one goes just high. It's toward the right side dot now as Jordan Osterley lost it. Maple Leafs can take their time and across the red line now. And good get back there by Oscar Sundqvist. Good 200-foot game. Help out. The Red Wings need to be able to make some changes here, especially on defense, too. The forwards and the defense will change. Jake Woolman was the only one that didn't. It's Pew Suter. Off the backhand side, he gets canceled off by a couple sticks. Dumped down deep toward the red side red line. Ilya Samsonov holding on the left side post now. Sundqvist. We'll get to it. Michael Bunting will collect toward the right wall. Bunting holding it off the forehand side. This goes in between the skates of Sider, but he finds that Jake Woolman's got to do so as well. As Red Wings just got to punch this ahead. Adam Murney will get it down across the red line. He could safely do so. And now it's Zach Aston Reese. Plays a pass for Timothy Liljegren. Good outstretched pass. But this gets canceled away. Sider took it away from Matthews. Sider stuck in his own end off the spin. Will get it back in amongst the traffic. And Hellberg probably had his heart skip a beat there as Toronto was pretty active on that forecheck. Toward the left side of the red line. Picked up now by the Red Wings. It's Wallman. It feels like he's been out there for about 3 minutes as the Red Wings will get it down. Kopp, Rasmussen out there as well. Kopp touched it, tried to leave it there for Rasmussen. And now the Maple Leafs will find this in their own end. It's been a good defensive zone battle right now, and a neutral zone battle. Look out for that early goal. Only 3 shots for the Maple Leafs still, and we're 13-20 in the second. It's loose. Scores! Right in the middle of the slot, and that's exactly how it happens. It's the wrong man to give the puck to. John Tavares. 2-1 lead for the Maple Leafs. 2 goals on 4 shots. Opportunistic is all you can say. And when you get John Tavares in the middle of the slot, he's not going to make a mistake. Kelly Armstrong gets it right to Tavares. Nobody picks him up. All he does is make a backhand forehand move. Hellberg bites, falls down. And John Tavares, the captain, gives the Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead. That's a goal scorer's goal. And a great pass there by Kelly Armstrong to set up John Tavares. 40 games played, 17 goals, 19 assists, 34 points the last 23 games for the Maple Leafs captain. 2 goals on 4 shots. You could put a pillow back there at this point and still get the same result. Kubalik in through the traffic. Soderblom trying to find it there for Detroit. They need to be able to find it here. Again, I can't say that they're playing all too poorly. The Maple Leafs aren't playing that great either, but it's still 3 goals on very limited shot opportunities. It's been a very odd game. A couple of the NHL assignments that we've covered this week between Carolina and New York and now Detroit and Toronto, they've been very odd. as this is picked up by Morgan Riley in their own end. This is going to be a race down the ice and an easy entry. Nylander cross pass, and that one was just too far for Matthews. That could have easily been a 3-1 scoreline. Matthews off the backhand, good stop there by Hellberg. That was one of the times I could actually say that because it's not been a lot of opportunities for him to face. Only 3 more shots than Patrick and I have so far in this side. That says a lot. So this is picked up by Perron. Red Wings trying to get this out of their own end. They cannot. This gets canceled toward the right side wall by the Maple Leafs. David Kampf had it right on the doorstep, but it just went off a skate. Maple Leafs will collect. Timothy Liljegren will put this around the embankment. Jordan Osterley canceled off by bodies, and again the Red Wings cannot clear. Liljegren into the screen, fought off by Hellberg a couple times. The second rebound knocked him down, but the Maple Leafs still have it. They're starting to find their skating legs now, which is dangerous for Detroit. This could get ugly. Engvall across the wall. Leaves it here for Liljegren. It's stopped off the skate, but the Red Wings able to lift the stick just in time as an open net would have been there for Toronto. So this is not iced. Toronto, long outstretched pass finds Marner. Marner will spin. He's going to work his way in the high slot. Beat a man off of the tip was Tavares, who just untied this game, kept across the blue line side by Justin Hall. And now Veleno will get it back to Ben Sherratt. Toronto's definitely found their skating legs now, and this is trouble for Detroit. This is picked up now toward the right side wall. And now Hall will be the first to get to it. 11 shots to 8 as this one gets dumped down. Again, it was 6 shots for Toronto in this period to just 1 for Detroit. So that's kind of telling you the way that it's moving right now. Sherratt, Ernie, across the red line now, chip and chase. And that's what the Red Wings will start to do when they're starting to feel some danger. Try to find Sherratt to Sundqvist and tip it out in front, but they cannot. No, William Nylander gains the entry toward the right wing side off the forehand and lets one go, and he whistles it just wide of the wall toward the left post. Michael Rasmussen trying to knock his man off the puck. Auston Matthews just couldn't find it in time, otherwise he would have been open in the high slot. Cleared down on the Red Wings side by Lucas Raymond off the backhand. Rasmussen trying to join in. 10:05 left to go in this second frame. The Maple Leafs have just taken a 2-1 lead. Nylander hits it off the wall as this is settled down by Liljegren and dumped it across the red, but intercepted there by Moritz Seider. Gains the entry off the backhand, trying to leave it in for David Perron. Auston Matthews is all over him, though. Back pass. Good work there by Seider to Kopp, but good defense there by Auston Matthews. He's not just a goal scorer. He can get you 60, but he can play a good 200-foot game. He's one of the most complete players we got in the NHL, no doubt about it. Holy Mata. Outstretched pass there for Joe Veleno. Gets picked up there by David Kampf. This is a one-on-one opportunity and set up there in between Zach Aston Reese, but he gets canceled off from Kampf, and now the one-timer goes just wide of the right dot. Liljegren will keep this in as this is picked up by Zach Aston Reese. Toward the right side wall, above the glove of Hellberg, but still in his office. Toronto, like hyenas on hamburger meat right now, keeping this alive. David Kampf missed off the one-timer with the help of Liljegren, picked up by Mata. Mata, they finally get it out to the Red Wings, and Liljegren will find it with 8:50 left to go in the second frame. John on here doing the play-by-play from Scotiabank. It's the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, an original 6 match. We got the Bally Sports Detroit feed. Appreciate you guys following along on Twitter Spaces and on the YouTube side. Maple Leafs have it in their own end. Liljegren help get things reset. Long outstretched pass. Bounce off of the hands. This could be an opportunity for Toronto in the high slot, but the Red Wings knock it away. Jonathan Berggren, stretch pass for Perron. You can always tell him with that black visor. Larkin into the screen, and this one gets fought off by Samsonov with the left pad. Circling back in their own end is David Kampf. Now with Justin Hall. This third line for Toronto is more of a defensive line. You can say that. Although they can create space, they got some speed. Right side wall assignment picked up there by Adam Ernie, but he gets canceled off by 3 Maple Leafs. Now the captain back out there, John Tavares, the latest goal scorer. Good hit there by Sundqvist to throw a little bit of the body on Marner. Didn't knock him off the puck, though. Pius Suter Able to locate, drop this one for Ernie. Ernie through the traffic for Sundqvist. Not a bad idea, but Samsonov got knocked down. We'll see if he's okay. Tavares gains the entry. It's an offside one. 7:38 left to go in the second. We get immediate timeout. Maple Leafs up 2-1. Just going to type some of these goals in here.
We don't have freezers. This is definitely real food. We always have fresh stuff coming in. This is the best walk that you can get.
Fresh is what we stand for.
Definitely.
Nina's got a lot of ideas for the future. And since anyone can create a free plan at Fidelity, Nina has a plan based on what matters most to her. And she can simply focus on right now. That's the planning event from Fidelity.
Check out the 2023 Ford F-150 at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. With class-leading towing capabilities and payload, the F-150 makes work or fun a lot easier. Place an order for a 2023 F-150 lease and receive $1,000 retail order bonus cash. Returning Easy Plan lessees can lease an F-150 for $399 a month for 24 months. Plus, lock in the price right now. And if at the time of delivery, the deal gets better, you get the better deal. So take advantage of the $1,000 retail order bonus cash offer on the 23 Ford F-150. Wait for it first.
Earlier today here in Toronto, courtesy of Frozen Pond, a beautiful collectible store, frozenpond.com. Mickey Redmond did a signing, and this stick was sent to you, Mick, to sign. What's so unique about this stick?
That stick was dipped in Kevlar with, we did that in Louisville over in Wallsburg, Ontario. Greg Watson and myself made them stiffer in the boot. You couldn't break them. They wouldn't break down. And boy, they got you. They got near you. They were almost illegal. And that stick, you can see the cut marks on there. Yeah. My dad once said we had white tape on the stick. He said, what do you do? Give the goaltender an advantage and let them off there? Take a torch, burn that thing, and make it black.
Back into the action now. The Maple Leafs have the puck in the Red Wings defensive zone. 7:20 left to go in this second. It's 13 shots to 10 in favor of the Red Wings. But it's a pair of goals in the second period for Toronto to take the lead. Not a lot of shot opportunities for both. But now it's 13-11 as the Maple Leafs are starting to wake up in this second period as they've taken the lead and actually get some shots on the board. Magnus Hellberg has a lot of work to do. Good tip out in front. Ben Sherratt, though, is the defenseman off of the rush. And his low wrist shot gets held in the catching glove of Ilya Samsonov as Bunting and Sherratt have a little bit of a pushing and shoving. And now Filip, Hronek, and Auston Matthews, although for Auston Matthews, it's a little bit of window dressing. You want to protect your assistant captain. You're not going to have him throw too many punches right now. So 2-1 lead as we're getting close to, not so close to ending the second period, but it's 6:55 left as now there is a little bit more pushing and shoving as we get a little bit more of a commercial break. Bunting really wants a piece of one of the Red Wings for whatever reason. Don't know why he's so animated, to be honest with you. Again, for the Bally Sports Detroit side, he's been very animated, and that's the feed that I have now. Now Bunting is going in the box. I think it might be Bunting and Bunting alone. Did the Red Wings get a little poke in there that he wasn't too happy about? Or he just really, he was really animated. And guys, I'm sorry, I can't give you anything definitive. So Sherratt gets a push over there to Bunting. That was the first one. So we're still looking right now. I'm looking at this live feed for this replay to show Bunting. Bunting and the referee's being held, and now Bunting gets an extra hand on one of the Red Wings. And then he bumps into Raymond and gives him a headlock. Now Rasmussen gives him a couple punches, knocks down Raymond on accident. So Bunting's certainly been the agitator, and that's just quite frankly a dumb penalty. So it's going to be a neutral zone face-off. The Red Wings will go to a power play. They have 1:50 left to do so. This could be an opportunity for them to tie the game, and quite frankly, I don't know why Michael Bunting was so agitated but that's not a smart penalty to take. So 6:35. Tip by Raymond. Couldn't locate it. And now Raymond trying to find this now with the help of Dominik Kubalik. I noticed Kubalik's been moved down in the lineup of late over the last few games. He's not been as ostentatious with his chances and opportunistic as you'd like him to be. Maybe you'd consider moving him up, and at the same time, you're not playing Robbie Fabry off the back-to-back, and Jacob Verana has got that little stint there in between the player personnel program where he's in Grand Rapids. So we'll see what ends up happening with Kubalik as far as whether they'll move him up and down the line. So Larkin lost it. Kelly Kruk off the clear. And now the Red Wings have about a minute left to go in this power play that Michael Bunting is going to have to serve. And quite frankly, it was a dumb penalty. Filip Hronek picks this up now near the left side dot. Leaving it for Joe Veleno. Veleno will gain the entry. He'll just put it across the right side wall. Try to get picked up there by one of the Redwoods. And Oscar Sundqvist. Again, he's 6'4". Omer Soderblom hasn't had as much time of late on that side, but he used to be part of that line. Perron had to hold it. He couldn't one-time it, and allowed a left pad save for Samsonov as he could recover. But the Red Wings immediately lose the puck possession as it's possession on the kill. Kelly Kruk off the cross pass, and now this puck could come the other way. Maybe Veleno's going to elect to shoot. Keeps it alive off the backhand, set it up for the 1T, and this one gets blocked before whatever hit off this Sundqvist opportunity. Now back in toward the wall. Seider will take it. Cross pass Jonathan Berggren in between the circles. And now this gets picked up by Wollman. Wollman with the back pass. Try to find Seider. Seider into the traffic. Took a bounce. Sundqvist has to settle it down. Samsonov holding on to that left post. But the puck never got there across the blue paint. And now the Maple Leafs have killed the penalty. Here's Bunting. You wonder if he's a little bit angry from that penalty and want to try to do some things himself, if he'll be in his own headspace. And across the red line now, picked up by Veleno, but it'll be an offside entry. 4:35 left to go in the second. We'll step out when the commercial break. Come right back. We'll finish off the second frame.
And 2% cash back on like maybe shoes without laces. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. That's real life ready.
Need the update your furniture. Menards has the furniture you need in stock. Plus, you get a free rug. That's right. Buy any upholstered living room furniture at $2.99 or more and get a free 5x7 area rug. That's $149.99 in savings. Need a new chair? How about a sectional, a new recliner, or rug seat? Buy one today, get a free rug. Hurry up, get to Menards before they're gone. In-store only while supplies last.
Well, we fell in love through dating.
But now the internet lives and it's the whole thing off. When did you first discover this lag?
I signed us up for the mobile home internet, but we found other interests.
I guess we have.
Yes! Let's go!
It's not the same. What could you do to solve the problem?
We could get Xfinity.
That's actually super adult of you to suggest.
I can't wait to spot up.
I love it when you talk nerdy to me. Guys, we're still in session. I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
It's a game brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealer, Scott Keenan, with Chris Osgood and Jimmy Howard and Larry Murphy. They all look so comfortable. We're going to get them onto the ice when we see it for the second intermission. Back to Toronto. Kevin McNeil.
4:30 left to go in this middle frame. It's a 2-1 lead for the Maple Leafs as the puck goes up and under the players' bench. Again, I'm following along on the Valley Sports Detroit local feed. You can catch this game on CBC. You can catch it and catch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle on the Sportsnet side. You know, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal. A lot of those ones for Leafs fan reaction. He's very good on that side. He's always very animated. But I appreciate you guys following along on the Twitter Spaces side and the YouTube side. The Hockey Night in Canada Original 6 matchup. It's a 2-1 game right now. The Maple Leafs have this in their own end, looking to break out left to right in this period. The Red Wings will be going right to left. Magnus Hellberg wasn't sure if he wanted to play it or freeze it, and this is going to lead to an opportunity now for William Nylander. Probably should have froze that one. Now through the high slot, it's loose, and an opportunity for Hall, but he just missed the right side of the post, and that was one of the situations where the Red Wings shot themselves in the foot big time, but it's puck possession right now for Mark Giordano, holding on the right side wall. And now Auston Matthews will leave it for Giordano. The Maple Leafs have to go back and check up in their own end. And now, speaking of the plays that you don't want to make, Red Wings take a penalty. I'll let you know who that's on once the Red Wings actually touch up. So Maple Leafs can take their time off of this 6-on-5, and it's going to change once the Red Wings actually touch up. David Perron, one of the lone forecheckers right now. The Leafs are in no rush, although the net is empty. The only way the Red Wings could score is if they accidentally passed it in their own net. We've seen that happen sometimes, but I'm not going to call it. Hull will get this across. Marner gains the entry now toward the left side wall. Beautiful toe drag off the step through. And now Olli Maatta will touch this one before it hits Hellberg in the middle of the slot. Might have to pay some bills one more time as we get a commercial break. It's Ben Sherratt going to the box.
Because right now, new customers get no sweat first bet and get up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. So bet on everything from spreads to same-game parlays. And when you win, you can get paid instantly. Now that's truly the thing with you. Make every moment more with FanDuel. New customers get no sweat first bet and get up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win.
That's definitely him.
Dude, that's Jessica taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Oh.
When it's frosty time, choose Frosty. It's new peppermint frosty.
GMC Sierra with hands-free driving offers the most advanced and luxurious pickup in its class. Yeah, it rocks.
Registration is now open for the 2023 Iron the Deep Day taking place on Saturday, May the 6th at the American Park. Join Valley Sports Detroit and the Detroit Sports Commission for the best 5K in town.
Got about 30 seconds again before we get into the puck drop. We're getting dangerously close to finishing the second period. 3 minutes left to go in the second period. It's going to be Ben Sherratt sent to the sin bin for a cross check. So this is a big time opportunity for the Red Wings on this penalty kill. They've got to pretty much kill this one off, because if it gets to a 3-1, I don't know if they're going to be able to come back and get another one in this game. We'll see how it goes, though. So picked up now. Morgan Riley gets it across. Now toward the left side circle, going to be held by John Tavares. He's getting around 3 different Red Wings, and now Nylander will take his time in behind the office of Hellberg. Marner with the slap pass, set it up here for Riley. He does the same. Leave it for Tavares. In between the circles now, very patient. Nylander's shot goes off of the left stick of Hellberg and sent down the ice. So Toronto's power play is a thing of beauty. They're always patient, they're always positioned, and they know how to score. And they have dangerous personnel on the ice at all times. That's one of those situations that will carry them even when they have a not so great game that they're having right now. Yes, it is a 2-1 lead for the Maple Leafs, and yes, the fans will take it. But this has been a very stop and start, kind of stall game in between these two teams. Not been very fluid. So Marner get this across. Auston Matthews keep it alive off the forehand. Riley sets it up. Matthews! What a stop by Hellberg as he flashed the right glove. That was a 1-T. That wasn't in Ovechkin's office. That was right in the middle of the slot. And Auston Matthews got answered there by Hellberg. No doubt about that. You can mark that one down as one of the big time opportunities that's going to keep the Red Wings back in this game. It was a simple forehand pass in behind the office and give him go right back. And Matthews got stonewalled. As that one actually might have went off of a stick, by Snyder. I thought it was actually saved by Hellberg. He wanted to flash that glove, and I expected, just like he did, the puck to be there. So my apologies. Jake Wallman, as this one gets cleared off the glass and down the ice. 25 seconds left to go in the Toronto power play. This gets picked up now by Riley. He's going to leave it back into the forward side. And we'll do it again. Kelly Armstrong gained the entry. He was just on the kill side. Now he's on the second line power play. As this is picked up by the Leafs. Bunting will get this across now. As Leafs will hold Bunting with the slapper. It goes off of the midsection of Hellberg. Kept in toward the right side wall. Bunting lets it go again into the screen. Armstrong trying to get there. Good defense there by Wallman to cancel him off inside the blue paint, though. As this gets sent across the red line. We got a minute remaining left to go in the second period. Collision into the neutral zone right now as some bodies are taking some tumbles on both sides. Red Wings will get this down across the red line as Wallman will do his job again. But this is iced. Rasmus Sandin will get there first. It's going to be an offensive zone face-off here for the Maple Leafs, and the Red Wings cannot change their personnel. That's what an icing will do with 46 seconds left to go in the middle frame. 18 shots to 14 still in favor of the Red Wings, but it was 2 shots for the Maple Leafs in the first. They got 12 in this middle frame, and now they have the lead. They were trailing 1-0 after 1. They're up 2-1 after 2. Moritz Seider currently 1 minute on the shift right now, as this is going to be a face-off loss by Andrew Kopp. It's kept in there by the Maple Leafs, shot into the screen, but it got blocked off of one of the Maple Leafs' own and sent down the ice again, where it is iced one more time. 34 seconds left to go in this middle frame. So upcoming for the Toronto Maple Leafs is going to be a back-to-back. I believe that this one is going to be against the Philadelphia Flyers. That should give me enough time to scroll down. So it is Philadelphia. That's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start in Philly at Wells Fargo Center. They will have a TNT game on Nashville before they play Detroit again off the back-to-back. So a couple of back-to-backs for Toronto. Back-to-back tomorrow. They get 3 days off, and then back-to-back with Nashville and Detroit in this week's side of it. So Maple Leafs have this in their own end right now, as I'll pull back up the rosters one more time. 15 seconds as this is collected for an icing, so that give me a good time for a reset. Let's do the same for the Red Wings before we close out this second period. And I kind of brought this up. Would be a good time to get some talking points in. So after a back-to-back right now that the Red Wings just lost against the Florida Panthers, they could do so against Toronto. This is a difficult schedule. They got Winnipeg on Tuesday. They got Toronto on Thursday. And then they will have Columbus on Saturday. That's going to be their week. Monday will follow with Colorado, and then a back-to-back with Arizona, and then Vegas in the 3-game road trip. So tough schedule right now for Detroit. 10 seconds to go as Brody tried to center it out toward Magnus Hellberg. Red Wings will get to it, but I don't know if they have time for a shot. Berggren stuck down the left wall, lost it. That's going to end the second period. It's a 2-1 lead for the Toronto Maple Leafs, courtesy of John Tavares, your latest goal scorer. So we'll get you a little bit of reset around the league, maybe some NBA scores as well. Say NFL playoff reset, or I should say Week 18 reset, as we're getting the playoffs really underway right after that. Just in a little bit.
It was that long ago. The Wings led by 1 after 1, and then 24 seconds in, Marner scores, and then in the first 6.5 minutes, they've got the lead. We'll take a turn to Tavares' goal, in which the Maple Leafs found their way to that 2-1 lead, because the Wings have played pretty well at that point. I guess I think it's a pretty good reminder that Tavares is a generational goal scorer, and you kind of knew you were going to get a lot.
You know, if you're in the wings room, these guys can test that. Because that Toronto's going to come up blank. They did in that second. I look at this game in 2 periods. They'll shoot at least 18-14. Still a pretty good 2 periods by the wings. They set themselves up for an opportunity to win a game against a really, really tough opponent on the road.
You guys are going to hit to the ice and be helped by Henry Howard to show us how Tavares was able to put the Leafs on top by a 2-1 count. Or what did you leave the win?
So here's a quick goal scoring reset for those still following along on the Twitter Spaces. We got a couple on the YouTube side as well, so I'll throw this out there. So in the second period, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they entered it with only 2 shots on goal. They ended up with 12 in that period for their 14 marker. It was 24 seconds in as it was an abbreviated power play for Toronto entering that middle frame. Right off the wall from a Matthews slapper. It goes off the inboards, almost like a design. In between the left circle and the left side red line, Marner picks it up, fires the rebound immediately. Red light goes off. No chance for Hellberg to make the save. Ties the game at 1. And then at 6:37, Tavares, he got a great pass from Kelly Armstrong right in the middle of the circles. Set it up, and it was a forehand, backhand, forehand. No chance for Hellberg to make the save, and it didn't help that he bit on the puck. And Tavares roofed it, gave the Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead.
Raymond is in the neutral zone, and we'll see Raymond skating back towards Tavares. As they get the puck to go D to D, Raymond button hooks off the Tavares. Now he's caught a little bit of a no man's land.
Yeah, it's generally it's the defensive responsibility to get back, but it was a communication issue. So I moved up on the play. Raymond's up on the play, and all of a sudden Tavares is all taking advantage of the situation. He's cutting down the middle of the ice, a lot like Matthew. He didn't Tavares. New York Islanders, a great player, but he's smart. I mean, he's not the fastest guy anywhere. He's having a great year for the Leafs. They always talk about he's lost his foot speed, but he hasn't lost how smart he is as a player, and people underestimate how important that is.
I'll give you a little goal scoring reset around the league, and then I'll go ahead and use the faculties here before we get into the third. At the end of 2, it's a 4-3 lead for the Buffalo Sabres. They scored 3 times in that second frame. Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, and Dylan Cousins. Kirill Kaprizov, Brandon Dumaine, and Ryan Hartman, the goal scorers. So 3 goals apiece for the Wild and the Sabres in the second frame. And if you want to know why Tage Thompson was the #1 pick for the Buffalo Sabres, I'll go ahead and click on his name if at all possible. As we'll pull up, he's got his 31st of the season. Yes, 31 goals. He has 25 assists as well, so updated is 56 points, tied for 3rd in the NHL. And by the way, he's only 25 years old. And he kind of feels like, and I don't want to use this lightly, but the second coming of Alex Ovechkin in the aspect of this. He likes to get in the middle of the dots. He likes to launch the 1T, and he's been clocked at 104 miles an hour for his one-timer. He's got a big-time shot, and he's 6'7", 218. He's a big, big boy, and he can do a lot of damage. So that's why I'm looking forward to that Tuesday broadcast in between the Buffalo and the Seattle Kraken, that Jersey debut as well, as far as the YouTube side of things. So we'll have to look forward to. Buffalo's been waiting for a little bit of the rebuild. They've been hot of late, 19, 15, and 2. If we take a look at our standings, and I have the wild card stuff pulled up there, Buffalo Sabres are the second team out. They have 40 points. Next closest is 46 for the Islanders, the wild card. So they were off to a very rough start, and they've made one hell of a run to try to get back in this thing. Other scores, 2-2 for the Blues and the Canadiens. So Montreal gets 2 in that second period. You could probably guess maybe Suzuki and Caulfield, maybe my guess. No, it's Joel Armia and Kirby Dach. Dach with his 6 from Suzuki and Dvorak, Jake Evans and Evgeny Dadonov. So that is a little bit of a surprise, some secondary goal scoring for the Canadiens, and then a 5-3 lead for the Seattle Kraken. It was Matty Beniers. He did get on the board, his 14th and 21st from Eberle and Daniel Sprong. The very underrated Washington Capitals legend, and I'll throw that as jokingly in terms because he could score a lot in EA video games. Tim Stutz lined a pair of goals in that second period as Ottawa's still in this thing, although it's 5-3. Might have been years again with his 14th of the season. He's the lone representative so far for Seattle out of U of M. The Bruins and the Sharks will be one of the late games at 10:30. Again, the late game that I thought about doing was the Kings and Golden Knights in the Pacific Division matchup, but feeling better now. Headache's kind of gone away. Avalanche Oilers will be another good one. So if you want some good NHL late tilts, you got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl against Kel McCarr, Mikko Rantanen, and you have the two leaders in the Pacific and the Kings and Golden Knights. So if you want to keep a TV tilt for a late game, if you're not following along on the NBA side, we'll give you the NBA score reset real quick. As far as what's going on, we should have a lot of games in the association. So Spurs lost to the Celtics 121-116. Celtics got to get on track a little bit. Just 4 games going on, a little bit of a late night. Jazz Bulls 41-39. Mavericks all over the Pels 45-27. Again, no Zion. 15-15 in the first between the Magic and the Warriors. Late game will be the Lakers and the Kings. Might be a little bit of a snooze fest, although the Kings are in a playoff spot right now. They're 20-17, 11-8 at home. Let's go ahead and pull up the NFL side of it. So I don't think I covered the spread. No, I did not. Between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Raiders, I think I took the 9.5, and Raiders didn't cover that. Although with no Derek Carr, and they kind of should have smashed my head and could have had a V8 one of those commercials. 31-13 for the Chiefs, and just underway is the Titans and the Jags. 3-0. Titans have the lead. A little bit of a playoff spot potentially there opening up as the Jags have the lead in the division, but only by a game. So this means a lot for both teams. Again, just a 3-0 scoreline, Jags with the ball. Let me see if I can give you a little bit of a NCAA men's reset as well. We'll just do top 25. Missouri beat Vanderbilt 85-82. Illinois got a big win over Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 14th. They're 3-1 the Big Ten, 11-3, 79-69. Kansas destroyed West Virginia 76-62. Kansas still 14-1, 3-0 the Big Ten. So my friend Nick and Nolan are going to be happy with that side. Virginia, big win over Syracuse 73-66. They're 11-3. They're ranked 11 in the poll right now. And Arizona, the Wildcats, got a loss actually to Washington State. They were 7-10. Washington State got the win over the Wildcats 74-61. So that's a little bit of a surprise. I will be right back.
Sign up now for the iRated E5K at American Park on Saturday, May 6th. What better way to bring in spring and celebrate a new year than by a run or walk through downtown Detroit, finishing on the American Park field. Join Valley Sports Detroit and Detroit Sports Commission for the best 5K in town. The iRated E5K on Saturday, May 6th. For more info or to register, visit runthesignup.com/iRated.
Anybody want to weigh in here on like the last when an assist is awarded after the start of the next period?
Ken Daniels ought to be a point there in the telecast so that everybody knows it's got her arm for like the left. But you don't get it. That's more suspicious activity like that. Because I know where the press box is in Toronto, obviously. So you know the league, the guys are right next to that press box. You go over and ask them. That's it. Okay, this is what I love playing. It just keeps up. It keeps up.
This from you, who's leading the way. Yeah. All right, stay with us. We'll continue from Ozzy Shack on Valley Sports.
This is the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder and with a range of dry modes and intelligent off-road technology, you can take a Sunday stroll in the least basic of places. The 2023 Nissan family of SUVs. Ready for a race. Make no payments until April 2023 on select vehicles. New vehicles are here. Stop by today.
Teeth sensitivity is so common, it immediately feels like somebody's poking directly on the nerve. I recommend Sensodyne. Sensodyne toothpaste goes inside the tooth, calms the nerve down. And my patients say, doctor, it really works.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. Your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Well, we fell in love for gaming.
But now the internet lags and it throws the whole thing off. When did you first discover this lag?
I signed us up for T-Mobile Home Internet, but we found other interests.
I guess we have.
Yes! Let's go!
Oh, yeah. It's not the same. What could you do to solve the problem?
We could get Xfinity.
That's actually super adult of you to suggest.
I can't wait to spot up.
I love it when you talk nerdy to me. Guys, we're still in session. And I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
So we got about 5 minutes left to go in this intermission, so I'm going to do a quick little flip here again. Just going to go between Minnesota and Buffalo just for a couple minutes, give us enough time to kill and take a live look in. There's a flip in between the Xfinity stream and the ESPN because I have to do a lot of 4K streaming on this side, although it's all 720p. That's what you get with ESPN Plus and Xfinity stream on that side because no cable box on this side for me, so it's always going to be streaming. So if you do need to get to that option, what I always will tell people is if you use the 4K Fire Stick Max from Amazon Fire Stick, that's the one that you want to go with. You'll get all your apps in there. I understand you can use video game consoles and a lot of other things. That can be a little bit too much cumbersome. So you stick with one of these Fire Sticks, you get everything streaming there, and you get the best connection that you can get. And I do think when we get close to playoff time, I know it's May time like that, but when Cooper Hopkins ends up working with me on some of this stuff, I might pay for YouTube TV just for a couple months so I can actually get a 4K connection on that side because I've had this LG C1 since it went on sale for $729. Look, I know the C3s, G3s, all those stuff will be coming out in about February side. This was $729 on closeout, and this is a regular about $2,000 TV. I got a 48-inch. My TV was about 14 years old, that plasma, so I replaced it. So I would recommend if you could get a C1 that's new out in the wild and you get it for that price point, I don't think you hesitate about pulling the trigger because you get 4K 120. And then when my cousin with the graphics card that he gave me, because I finally got that replaced because my TV was old as a computer. It was a store-bought one about 13 years ago. When he gets that in there, I got a $1,500 graphics card for free on that side. So when he hooks that up in there and comes back over, I'll just plug the HDMI 2.1 cable in there and get 4K 120 side of it for the computer. I don't really play computer games, but I'll have the opportunity to do so. And I shouldn't have to do any kind of alterations because the computer was like $850 with all the parts. A lot of this stuff was on sale and it's kind of been piecemealed over the last year. And then the TV was $729. I know it sounds like a lot, but considering it'd be like a $3,000 TV, a $3,000 computer, and a $2,000 TV, I had to take it for the prices that I have. So I was able to finally get some of the stuff back in the 21st century when using very outdated tech. So that's the way it is. I really don't go ahead and throw dollar bills all over the place. but I really needed to upgrade some of the stuff in the setup. And the next thing you guys will probably notice is the camera set on the YouTube. It's fine for 1080p, but the audio's kind of questionable. So I always tell people if you want some clear audio, you can follow along at John Lane on Twitter Spaces like Patrick Rush is doing. I appreciate that. He's following along because we're covering a Red Wings game. So I appreciate him doing that. But you can always get clear audio on that side, although it's just technically from the phone, and my camera is really not much better on that side. So that's just something to let you guys know if you need to be able to upgrade some of the tech. I do, because I kind of just I take care of things. I don't beat it down, but I kind of wait until I really have to upgrade something. I'm not one of those ones that always jumps right in and upgrades things every couple of months or couple of years. Like the latest phones, latest this, latest that. I don't have any of that. I was using a flip phone for the longest time before I even got an iPhone 7, and then the SE was free like a year ago. So it was like a $50 upgrade. So I don't really go crazy with all the tech stuff. I kind of just upgrade as I go and get what I need. For a good price. So we got about third period coming in a couple minutes. There wasn't anything going on between the Wild and the Sabres. So I'll pull up this box here in a minute. I will say this too as we're waiting. If you ever did get a C1, for anyone that is listening, this isn't one of those out of the TV type, out of the box TV type great pictures. You do have to do a little bit of calibration. Once you do get it all set up though and saves your settings, you're golden at that point. It's going to be really good for gaming and anything else that you do on it. You're going to get a good picture. As from someone that's gone from a plasma to the OLED now, and I really like the plasma because of the deep blacks and all of that. It's a great picture. OLED provides some of that same stuff, but plasmas back in the day, like it was, like I had, that's a perfect one. So if you go from plasma to OLED, I don't think you're going to be upset, but you got to do a little bit of finagling as far as getting the picture where you want it. I think Chris Osgood's throwing some show notes into the fire right now as we're at the campground side of it before we actually puck drop for this final frame here. If the score line holds, unless the Red Wings can make a dent, it's a 2-1 score line right now. Because they're going to have their post game from Ozzy's backyard rink in the Hockey Shack side of it. So they showed it with Mickey Redmond last year before, but he's doing the broadcast right now, so he's not available to join on this side. And Chris Osgood, I wish I could still look that good when I get older as far as not a lot of wrinkles. He always looks like a young kid. So puck drop set up here for the third period. John Tavares lost it. It's going to give the Red Wings puck possession. They'll be going left to right in this third period. The Maple Leafs will be going right to left. The Red Wings are in the road whites with the red pants, and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the all blue. We're watching this one at the Scotiabank Center. The Maple Leafs have a 2-1 lead, courtesy of a couple goals from Mitch Marner and John Tavares in that second. They had just 2 shots in the first. Jake Woolman had the opening goal of the game. Coming right out of the box off a stretch pass from Mata as he had a breakaway shot in between the circles. Rasmussen tried to shoot it short side against Ilya Samsonov, and Sider makes this one across, and we'll get it back. Sider patient. And now his pass was a poor one as it bounced off Tavares off the backside. This goes up in the player's bench as we get a stoppage of 19:11 left to go in the third. It's 19 shots to 14 in favor of the wing wheel, but the Maple Leafs have the lead where it counts on the scorecard on 2-1. Jake Wallman opened the scoring, his third of the season, 11:57 from Mata and Hronek. I'll go ahead and change that in my notes as they've added a secondary assist. It was Marner from Matthews and Riley on the power play, and then John Tavares from Kelly Armcroft who got the primary. So this is a face-off win as Auston Matthews, don't know if he took a stick in the mouth that wasn't called, as Larkin, and we'll try to find it now. He's going to leave it. Larkin's going to be stuck in toward the right side bench trying to get around Auston Matthews now. Two very special players on the ice in the Atlantic Division between Dylan Larkin and Auston Matthews, although I can definitely say, as much as I like Larkin, Auston Matthews is a couple steps above on that side. He is the primo superstar, and it's always good to have one, especially if you're the Maple Leafs. You got several, so it's an embarrassment of riches there on that side. So Australia lost it, and now the Leafs will try to figure this out in their own end as Morgan Riley gets across the red. He's going to chip this one down and take his change. 18:20 left to go in the third as the one-timer gets deflected up and out of play into the netting. That was David Camp on the doorstep as we get a side-by-side commercial. So as I go in through my own notes, again, there wasn't much prep to have to do between these two teams because it should be known enough. The Detroit Red Wings entered the game 16, 14, and 7. They just lost off the back-to-back of the Panthers, in danger of doing so against the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs are 23, 9, and 7. Some of their fans are going to be scratching their head as they're trying to acquiesce TJ Brody and some of the other D-man back that they've struggled of late, but they're still a top 5 team in the NHL and the second in the Atlantic. Upcoming penalty, I believe this one is going to be on the Red Wings, so they'll be shorthanded for the third time in this contest, and Toronto is going to go to the power play as it stands. And I'll make sure I'll pull up my ESPN box. Looks like Pew Suter is going to do some time in the sin bin. So holding the stick is what the call is. Thank you to Mickey Redmond as far as that against Pew Suter. And it's going to put Toronto on the power play for time number trace. Third time here right now. We'll see what ends up happening with the Maple Leafs and their power play. They've scored 1 out of 3. That's what it will be right now. Although one of theirs was very abbreviated, just like we said with the Red Wings, they have about an 8-second advantage. So I really don't like to count those, but they count officially as far as those numbers if you look in the box. So Tavares trying to take this draw right now. We'll see who's going to get kicked out. It's one of the Red Wings, so Andrew Kopp going to have to go to the wing side. So it's Rasmussen against Tavares. Tavares wins it clean. Morgan Riley going to hold in the high slot lead for Matthews toward the left side dot. Matthews very patient. Riley will give it back to Auston now. Nice forehand setup. One-time sizzler. And that was a rebound that Tavares couldn't locate as that was on the doorstep. Red Wings trying to get this out of their own end. Andrew Kopp will get a flip as this goes just away from the outstretched stick of Morgan Riley. Ilya Samsonov, again, I bet he would feel like he would need a pillow back there right now. It feels like he hasn't had much activity, although from a busy first, not been so busy after that. Marner, what an entry! What a save by Hellberg! He just got a piece of the left skate. And is this one going to go out of play off the Red Wings is the case? It was a walk right in, and I'll have to get a secondary look as far as who was the offensive attacker. So Matthews will gain the entry off the drop pass. Matthews works his way to the net. So great job by Auston Matthews to never put his head down and never stop moving. And wow, he got all the way from the right to the left post. He just couldn't lift the puck. It was stopped by the left skate of Hellberg. And that could save the game right now for the Red Wings. 19-19 now. The shot board is even as Auston Matthews, I wouldn't say he got completely stonewalled, but still a great save there by Hellberg and a much-needed one. Red Wings win the defensive zone draw. Ben Sherratt holding off the left side wall. Samsonov take no chances. He'll smother and hold. 1:05 left to go on the Toronto power play. They're going to have to contend with the defensive zone draw, though. So what would I say to anyone else that's listening in as far as Magnus Hellberg? Where does he stand in the Red Wings goalie differential in the rankings? Well, Alex Nedeljkovic is still going through a conditional stint. He has not had the same type of season, and over the last maybe season and a half now, he's just not had the numbers, and he's just not found his way. If it wasn't for Ville Husso getting picked up in the offseason by Stevie Y, I think things would be completely dire. So I would put Hellberg right now as the solid second, and Husso needs to recover from a little bit of that flu bug that he's had. He's had a couple of rough games. Goaltending's starting to fall apart right now. It's not a strong situation for Detroit, but I would give Hellberg the number 2 marker right now as he's bounced around between 4 different teams over the last couple of seasons. So 32 seconds, and it's a chorus of boos from the Scotiabank crowd, and I can only imagine as somebody's going to be sitting, it's the captaincy, John Tavares. So as this goes across the hand, and oh boy, again, in between Rasmussen and John Tavares, and this is from a Red Wings side broadcaster on the Michigan side, maybe a little bit of a foot there for Tavares and Trip Rasmussen, but that's very sketchy. And Sheldon Keith has a little bit of a smile on his face. There's been a couple sketchy penalties against Toronto. There's been definitely one sketchy penalty against Detroit. They're certainly calling it tight. So 32 seconds left to go. On a 4-on-4, it's going to be an offensive zone draw. Dylan Larkin, the captain, going to take this one. He wants it clean, but they can't keep it alive across the left wall. Filip Perron going to have to pick it up. So Hronek back in his own end. Excuse me, this is Mana out there with Osterley. Hronek's usually on the power play side, but it's 4-on-4. David Perron, that was a dangerous pass on the back, and he's going to have to collect again. Is Larkin. Number 71's got it now. 10 seconds left to go in the 4-on-4. We'll chip and chase this one in. Try to win the race. Again, I will say this, Dylan Larkin, going into next year, how much money is he going to get? He's probably going to be close to an $8, $9, $10 million player. I'm not going to say that he's not worth it. But I also kind of wonder in the same avenues as Tyler Bertuzzi hasn't been able to be healthy over the last couple of years. What does Steve Yzerman do? Dylan Larkin would look pretty attractive in another uniform. That would make me sad as far as some of the pictures. I don't have a jersey, but I do have a nice little picture as far as the college side from the Griffins to the Wolverines and all that. But he could definitely be one of those guys that could be gone unless the Red Wings want to put $10 million towards somebody like that. He's going to at least get 9 to 10. So there's a lot to think about. And there's always a lot to press against Larkin because you know he's the main guy. So you're not always going to be able to have those breakout games. But if he was on the second or third line, I think he'd do a lot of damage. He's stuck on the top end because the Wings don't have a lot of depth just yet. And Perron and Kubalik are starting to not have the same type of carry, although I'm not going to be disingenuous. They've been great players this year. They expected more from Andrew Kopp, and they expected Veron and Bertuzzi to be healthy. Jake Woolman, 20 seconds to go on the Red Wings power play. And a lot of talking for me because there's not been a lot going on for the Red Wings power play, although the shot goes off the right skate. Now picked in across the inboards. Hellberg didn't see it bounce, but now this is picked up toward the right side of the wall. Perron gets the clear as this one gets dumped down. Haven't seen a lot of Kubalik as well. I would expect him to get probably upshifted here for Derek Lewan's squad. That's just me. He's one of those guys that can be a heavy assist man. As the penalty is killed, Toronto makes something happen with Tavares, and Hellberg makes a fantastic save in tight. Tavares couldn't lift it, but it didn't matter. Hellberg met him step for step toward the left side of the wall. So you know what? Magnus Hellberg in between Auston Matthews and now John Tavares. Great save in tight. When Hellberg's been called upon in this third period, he certainly shined. And he's had to because there were some great saves. Shot board is now even at 20. 14:29 left to go in this third. The Red Wings need to find some sort of attack. They kind of had a little bit of a fortunate break. You can say that with Jake Woolman out of the box, but ever since then, from the first stanza, it's kind of been old Toronto, what we expect, but the scoreline's still close enough for the Red Wings to make something happen. As they'll chip and chase across the red line again, but Rasmussen got to win a puck battle. Raymond has to take an extra beat to hold it. Jordan Osterley, that was a poor attempt for a shot. I know he was going for a screen, but it wasn't anywhere close. And now that's just a turnover in my eyes. Pierre Engvall gains the entry there with the help of Dryden Hunt. Engvall lost it as Oli Mata has been the one that's been back. It took a frankly good bounce there for the Red Wings, but it's still in the offensive zone for the Maple Leafs. That could have been right out in front of Hellberg. You wouldn't have been able to make the save. Now Hunt will keep this toward the right side line. Engvall will take this D-to-D. Morgan Riley scores up under the shoulder of Hellberg. That is definitely one he's going to want to have back. But the scoreline, you can argue, after he stopped Auston Matthews and John Tavares, this probably should already be a 3-1 game. Nonetheless, it is now. Pontus Holmberg on the fourth line side will get credit for it. So the fourth line grinder side, if you will, keep it alive. And Pontus Holmberg into the tip gets the deflection, and the Maple Leafs take a 3-1 lead. As I expected to hear the Toronto Maple Leafs song that some of you guys in the goal scoring song can take it or leave it. I expected to hear a lot more the Make My Dreams Come True part of it, which I don't really care for, to be honest with you. I don't know how the Toronto Maple Leafs fans can deal with that every time because Toronto's going to score a lot of goals. I expected to hear it a lot more. Hronek off the entry, but it was a shot right toward the middle. Not really an aim, just right into the breadbasket of Samsonov, but the fans are standing and clapping now as Pontus Holmberg makes it a 3-1 lead for the Leafs. Come right back. We're in the middle of the third.
Find new experiences, find new roads. GM employees with a current eligible Chevy lease can get this Silverado for $289 a month. Chevy drives the Motor City. Find new roads.
That's the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this one speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy taste.
Connor's just finishing up. He's going to pump your hair.
No rush. Come on! Bring that three!
I'm trying to practice here, Wayne.
You need it.
Yes! That's that way, but shouldn't you be golfing?
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Contestants ready? Go! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
While Newsy alone and his players were limiting their special teams last night in the game against Florida, 0-5 on the power play and a lot of 2 power rule against the penalty kill. They wanted to take those things up here tonight. So far, they've shut down 4 of the 5 power plays that the Leafs have had. However, they've gone 0-4 on their power plays when they've had the opportunity. We'll look for them to try to get some special teams opportunities the rest of the way. Get back in this game. All right, trailing right now.
It's just 13-15 left to go in this third period. The Red Wings are running on a time right now, and they're down 3-1. I said during all the times my broadcasts, I've not watched the Red Wings actually win a game in any of the broadcasts that I've done. But to be fair, every single time I do a Red Wings broadcast, it's always against one of the top-tier teams. But I think that's how you have to do it. You want to see how your home team is going to play, and the prospective home team with Patrick Rush and myself play against good competition. And this is a Hockey Night in Canada matchup that I'm assuming that Toronto expected to win, as Auston Matthews almost played that off of the skate to himself. But these are the types of games that you have to win if you want to try to make the playoffs. And I just don't think the Red Wings are going to be there just yet. As it goes across the right side wall, Dylan Larkin gets canceled off nicely there by Timothy Liljegren, as the Maple Leafs will flutter this one down the ice. The question is, will it be icing? Yes, it will. Jake Woolman's going to win the hybrid race. 12-24 left to go in this third, so the Maple Leafs personnel cannot change. So that means Auston Matthews going to have to wait an extra beat on the ice right now. And Sheldon Keefe, I don't think he would expect much less as far as what his team can do. In my honest opinion, I think Maple Leafs fans can tell you this, the Leafs haven't been able to show any sort of push. They haven't had too much of a pushback. The Red Wings haven't given one. This has been kind of the game that's been a little sleepy as far as offensive opportunities. It's 21 aside. The Maple Leafs have a 3-1 lead. The latest goal was tipped ahead by Pontus Holmberg. This is putting out toward the right side boards. Walnut. As this gets picked up off the icing again, and he wins the race. 12:05 left to go in the third. But if I'm Detroit, I don't care how early it is, even if it's the 4-minute marker. If I'm New Zealand alone here and Derek Lalonde, I go ahead and pull the goalie at about the 4-minute marker. Right now we're at 12:05. I don't think he got anything to lose because at this point, within a 2-goal deficit, it's going to take a stratospheric level comeback, and you got to be able to start getting some shots on net and getting in the zone. There's been too much dump and chase, and that was evident of the New Jersey Devils game as a shot in the slot got denied. That was a good save by Samsonov of Michael Rasmussen. Picked up by Seider. He could have walked in and shot. Instead, he passed the cop, and now that's going to give Toronto an opportunity to get back to where they need to be in position side of it. Lucas Raymond, cop, lets it go for the screen, and that one got blocked. Didn't like that decision there by Seider. You got to fire that one right when you're in the middle of the slot. Rasmussen trying to get to it now as Toronto can get an entry. Great move by Bunting in between 3 Red Wings just to get a change and get in the players' bench. Seider, as this tries to get down deep, Rasmussen, first one onto it, as he tries to get around Kerfoot. Left now for Morgan Riley. Riley off the chip and chase. It's David Kemp. He lost it. And now Pew Suter will get this one ahead. The Red Wings one more time will change, but Maple Leafs could catch them on a break here is the way they caught it into the neutral zone. David Kemp, but it can't be held as this is dumped down the ice. This will be icing one more time, this time against the wing wheel. 10:55 up to go in the third. John, I'm here with you. We're going to be closing out this third period momentarily. We're almost at the halfway point. It's a 3-1 lead for the Maple Leafs over the Red Wings. Ever since the Red Wings scored their first goal in the first period, it's been all Toronto, but there's not been a lot of chances all the way across the board. Shot board still leads 22-21, but Red Wings have been kind of like just one of those small little puppy yells when you first get them, trying to learn how to bark. That's kind of been the way that it's happened right now in their offensive attack. And I'm just trying to be brutally honest. So Morgan Riley, this gets knocked away from him, but Maple Leafs keep this in the zone. TJ Brody gets it sent down deep. It falls to Camp, but it got blocked. Good work there by Jordan Osterley to knock it away, but they can't get it out. Cross pass set up, and David Camp has his head in the air as he gets denied by Hellberg on a 2-on-1. Good job there by Magnus Hellberg one more time. The score line is 3-1, and there's a couple. At least we could say it could be 4-1 at this point. It should at least be 3-1. That's what it is. Could at least be 4. He denied Camp there, and he also denied Auston Matthews and John Tavares in the same period on similar cross-pass opportunities or, frankly, walking red carpets right in the middle of the slot. So shots on goal this period, 9-4 for Toronto. They've now taken advantage on the shot board as a stick is being held by one of the Red Wings and some Maple Leafs. They wanted a call. They're not going to get one. The play's still live. Hronek get this across the red line side. It's a long shot, lively around the end boards. Oscar Sundqvist trying to win a puck battle. Filip Hronek can't get to it now. Then Sherratt as this touches the stick of Magnus Hellberg. And now Hronek will play this to Sherratt. So it's Hronek and Sherratt. They've kind of mixed up the line nowadays. It used to be Sherratt and Seider on that first line. Maybe trying to get something going is Derek Lalonde as far as his defensive side and create some offense. But they can't create much of anything right now over these last couple periods. 9:30 left to go in this third. Seider still patient. And Rainley, they need Seider and Raymond. They got to start going through this sophomore slump. They need these guys to be able to create some points. I understand these are good teams they're going against, but they're struggling compared to what they were last year at this point. Dylan Larkin can't be leading everybody all the time as far as points. He's at about 7. Filip Hronek is about a plus 14. Larkin's about a plus 5. But point totals and carrying the pace of play, there's not been a lot of that for the Red Wings right now. And it's going to be a tough part of the schedule. Larkin toward the right side. He got his pocket picked. This is a race for the puck right now. The Maple Leafs and Nylander got not held. That was great defense there by Jake Wallman to stay step for step. He is pretty quick on his feet. Perron leaving now for Larkin, trying to tone off the pocket pick. Now the backhand side as it got knocked away from Wallman. So Jake Wallman's been very active. He's got the one goal scorer, and he's actually pinched up as a defenseman to try to make something happen. Moritz Seider along the right side wall gets dumped in there. Raymond trying to win a puck battle. He cannot. And now Tavares. Nice little toe drag by some space ahead. Trying to leave it here for Kampf. Riley will pick it up here for the Leafs. They can feel it right now. It's about 8:10 left to go in this third. They got a 3-1 shot advantage. It's a little bit of smooth sailing as the captain has it for the Leafs. And we'll get this one down the ice. Only Mata just took a bad bounce off the left side post. Picked up here by Tavares. He didn't pass it across. He liked to go for the short side shot. That was probably a sigh of relief there for the Red Wings, but it's ice, so Detroit cannot change. 7:57 left to go in the final frame as we get another side-by-side commercial break. So the latest goal scorer was Pontus Holmberg for the Maple Leafs. It's their third straight, 6:19 left to go in this third. 3-1 scoreline for the Maple Leafs. Kelly Armstrong, getting a look at him from Gävle, Sweden. 5'11", 186. He spent some time with the Calgary Flames last year as he was with one of his cousins, but now he was picked up on a short-term deal. Kyle Dubas has to do that because now you got to go ahead and put some of that extra money on Auston Matthews getting the offseason, but I don't think any of the Maple Leafs fans are going to complain. So Kelly Armstrong gets leveled. John Tavares able to keep this alive now as it goes D to D. Mark Giordano. Now Marner into the tip, but it goes just wide. Mata tries to get to it first. Tavares canceled off Osterley. And now Giordano will collect. Giordano leaving it for Yarncroc. It's loose toward the high side dot. Extra weight for a beat off of a shot that gets tipped off the stick and into the breadbasket of Magnus Hellberg. When we come back in, we're probably going to finish off this third period to get there close to it. 7:30 left. Maple Leafs up by 2. Appreciate the like. Appreciate you guys following along on the YouTube side. Just trying to call it as it is. I know that there's going to be some Red Wings fans in the broadcast, possibly going to be some Maple Leafs fans. It's been a good contest for Toronto. I know they kind of sleepwalked through most of the game, but this just feels like one where you got the vice grip in there and they're doing the damage. So again, just to reiterate for a couple of you, they're also on the YouTube side. Story's going to follow a little bit later. Got a couple football games while I might get a bite to eat because I don't even have anything just yet after this. But the story's going to follow. hopelesssportsguide.wordpress.com per usual. And then the next week's schedule is going to sound like this, but I know for the most part. I'm going to spend some time with the fiance on Monday, so the off day for me Monday. Tuesday will be the debut of the jersey of Matty Beniers, the Seattle Kraken side. I got that one from Cooper Hopkins, so I got my custom jersey. So it'll be 2 teams I haven't covered, Seattle and Buffalo on Tuesday, the NHL assignment. And then we'll get some college basketball. It should be Alabama and Arkansas on Wednesday, and then Thursday night TNT basketball matchup between Brooklyn and Boston. That should be a good one. Haven't squared away what the Saturday assignment will be, but I will not be around on Monday or Friday on that side. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday should be the streaming days for the Twitter Spaces side as well. Again, no color cast anymore. I appreciate Patrick Rush following along. I know he's listening in because it's a little bit of a local assignment for us between the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. I appreciate him keeping me company because this is one of those ones where kind of been stomped on a little bit this week. It's been a rough one. I've seen the 5-5-hole goals between Carolina and the Rangers. I've seen Canada win the gold medal as they beat the United States in the semis. It's been a rough week, and I'm sure Maple Leafs might beat the Red Wings. So Jovelane, I'm going to try to get this in his own end right now as the Red Wings are stuck back there. They got about 7-10 to work with in this game, and they're down 2 goals. This does not feel like the big-time comeback that the Red Wings had shortly against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sorry, Alec Nava on that side when Jake Woolman did the gritty, although Jake Woolman has the lone goal for this game for the Red Wings. They had the first. It was 3 unanswered for the Maple Leafs from Marner, Tavares, and Pontus Holmberg are your goal scorers for the Leafs. Kerfoot lost it into the neutral zone, but I don't think that's going to be a problem as this is touched off the goal stick of Ilya Samsonov. It's not had much to do. 25 shots to 23. Pontus Holmberg was the latest goal scorer, but I was going to say Magnus Hellberg. There's some names that sound the same but are not. He's made 3 fantastic saves for the Red Wings in between John Tavares, Mitch Marner, and David Camp, all from the slot. 2 of them in the slot, 1 of them off tips, just to keep this at a 3-1 line. when it should be at least 3-1, probably worse. 6:10 left to go in this third. This is in the defensive zone of the Maple Leafs as the fourth line's out there for Sheldon Keefe's squad. Zach Aston-Reese turns it over to Adam Ernie, but should have shot that one on net. Instead, he put it toward the left side wall. This is going to be an opportunity for the Maple Leafs to get it out, and yes, they do. And now it's a race for the puck. Zach Aston-Reese. He's got a backhand setup, but that was a poor pass. Waited a little bit too long, did Aston-Reese. Off the 2-on-1, it was Liljegren that joined in. Doesn't matter, though, because the Red Wings will ice it. 5:45 left to go in this third. Shot board sounds like this, 25-23 for the Maple Leafs. It is a 3-1 scoreline advantage. Again, thank you for listening on the Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side. If you want to catch a TV feed, you can probably do so on CBC and Hockey Night in Canada. That's where they're on. Local feed for us right now between the Valley Sports Detroit side, but you can also catch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle, courtesy of Sportsnet. He can give you some of his play-by-play. It doesn't have the full play-by-play, but you can watch alongside his reactions if you want to do so on that side within the last 5:35. But I will have the complete game story to follow just a little bit later tonight. I think the Hockey Night in Canada corner interview is going to be Connor McDavid in their late game. So that'll be a cool one on that side if you're a hockey fan. You want to follow along late. So Woolman gets us across the red line side with the help of Mata. And now David Camp. Worked off the puck there by Dylan Larkin. David Perron, and couldn't be settled down with Jonathan Berggren. He's going to miss that opportunity for a 1T. Just couldn't hold on to the puck. 5 minutes left to go in this third. It's smooth sailing right now for the Maple Leafs as they get this one in, but this might have bounced off of the netting side. I think this is going to be a neutral zone draw, not an ice. 4:56 left to go in the third. That was a good opportunity for Jonathan Berggren. He tried to pick it up toward the right side of the dot, but he just couldn't pick it up off the forehand. He tried to settle it down off the backhand. It gave Samsonov time to recover when it could have been an open net to shoot at. 4:56 left to go. Andrew Kopp, normally the second, third line center nowadays. He does win this claim, former Winnipeg Jet, Michigan Wolverine. He was one of the former captains when Dylan Larkin was there for 1 year. He's the senior of Larkin, and now Larkin is the captain of the Red Wings. Picked up here by Timothy Liljegren off the backhander, the left side wall. Calle Jarnkrok will get this one down. The icing is waved off. Filip Hronek has it now. For about 4:25 left to go in this third. The Red Wings are running out of time, and maybe another minute for me toward the 3:20 marker, I would say. That would be the point where the Red Wings need to pull the snapminder. I know the scoreline is going to look a little more lopsided, but they're probably not coming back and winning this one. Cross pass set up by Matthews. And right into the webbing of the catching glove, that was Matthews and William Nylander off the 2-on-1. And a look what I found by Magnus Hellberg. As we go to a commercial break, 4:14. He's had some sparkling stops in this third. As the Red Wings are still within striking distance, but the time is against them at this point. Come right back.
Is what you stand for. Exactly. Drive into the new year in a Ford Edge. The 2022 Ford Edge comes standard with a large 12-inch touchscreen. Plus, every model also comes standard with all.
So let me get this note from Michael Plays Hockey. He says, it's Zeno from the streams like a month ago. He said, sorry I couldn't watch your streams. I was busy with hockey, and I'm currently in Oklahoma City for 2 hockey games against the OKC Oil Kings. Very cool on that side. I appreciate you even following along. I hope you're having fun with all that stuff. I'd like to watch some minor league hockey at some point. I had a lot of fun covering the World Juniors over the last week and a half side. I was disappointed to watch some of that stuff in, but I appreciate your comment, man. Hopefully, as we go along, maybe we'll catch up on some of these other streams. I'll have a couple hockey assignments this week, but I'm going to differentiate it with some college basketball and an NBA assignment. So it's going to be Bama and Arkansas Razorbacks, and then the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics between the Wednesday, Thursday side. 2 NHL assignments would be Seattle Kraken and the Buffalo Sabres. Haven't covered them yet this year. Saturday assignment's still up in the air, but I will be available for the Saturday side. But I appreciate you, man, very much. So So the game story is going to follow again, hopefulsportsguide.wordpress.com. It's going to follow a little bit later. So that might be a little bit after midnight because we're getting a bite to eat and all that stuff. But I appreciate you guys following along. And Patrick Rush, per usual, following along on Twitter Spaces for a local assignment for us on this side. Again, I always a glutton for punishment when I want to watch the Red Wings play against good teams. And hopefully maybe at some point one of my broadcasts against these good teams actually pick up a win. So Adam Ernie toward the forehand side. We'll keep this alive toward the red one as we're underway. Got 4 minutes left to go in this third. Red Wings running out of time right now. They have this in the offensive zone, but they got to be able to make something happen. Morgan Riley's got some other ideas as this goes back for Nylander. Riley joined the rush toward the left side red line as he gets canceled off. Michael Bunting has to get around Elmer Soderblom. He's going to use all of his 6'7" frame and get this one down the ice. We've got 3:30 left to go in this third. Shots are 26-23. The latest goal for Pontus Holmberg might be the one undoing for the Red Wings. Again, their lone goal was in the first from Jake Wallman, but that's it, and that's all right now. This goes off of the stick of Magnus Hellberg, the Red Wings goaltender, off the back-to-back, where they lost to Florida the other day. It was Billy Husso, didn't have a great outing, and now Magnus Hellberg, honestly, I can say, even though the shot totals have been kind of small, he's made some great saves in this third period just to keep the score line where it is. Moritz Seider, as we've hit the 3-minute marker, as this goes in between Wallmans. So it's going to be 6 skaters now as Hellberg goes to the bench. This is last gut check time here for the Red Wings, but I don't think they're going to be able to get to it. They got to get around Pierre Engvall. Over skating it is one of the wings now, and they'll collect now with Wallman. Seider will get this in across the red line. 2:42 marker, Samsonov. This has a brush in between a skate and now the Red Wings try to get this D-to-D. Nice block by Filip Hronek. Saved it from the empty net right now to still keep the Wings within striking distance. That was a wide open net. Andrew Kopp will just put this in off the embankment now. Sundqvist got to win this puck battle. Marner just trying to buy some more time as Justin Hall's also out there. It's 6-on-5, although the Red Wings are down 2. They have it in the offensive zone. 2:10 left to go in the third. Wraparound attempt, and that one gets brushed aside as the Leafs will. They're not really in a hurry to score this extra goal. They don't need to right now. Just trying to keep this puck possession. Oscar Sundqvist lost it. Picked up by Mark Giordano, but his clearing attempt's not out. Red Wings trying to find this in between some skates. This gets gloved down by Moritz Seider as he gets it dumped down deep. Jesus, the Kraken have an 8-4 lead on the Ottawa Senators right now. Here's an easy one for John Tavares off the backhand scores. The captain's going to salt this away, and the Maple Leafs are going to take a 4-1 win. That's as easy as you like into the yawning cage from about 100 feet off the backhand. There really wasn't anything else that the Red Wings could do. They had to go for it. They weren't going to win this game, but John Tavares will get an extra point through his point totals. That's going to be all she wrote. The Angela Lansbury murderer she wrote. So that's it. 139 left. So John Tavares, and honestly on our replay, it was a great backhanded skate kick pass to Tavares. No look back pass. Gorgeous setup off the empty net. And the only reason why it was a little more dramatic, it wasn't because the Maple Leafs scored, is because it was an empty cage. We didn't get to see that Marner one in real time, but a gorgeous pass by Marner nonetheless. 4-1 lead for the Maple Leafs. It's kind of an exhibitionist style game, as you would have expected. That's what I said going in. The Red Wings made an effort as they held the Maple Leafs to 2 shots in that first, although I feel like the Maple Leafs weren't really having to go to full jets. They probably played a 75% game, but it still was good enough to get a 4-1 win. So what does that tell you about the Maple Leafs? They're a damn good team. Like I've said that whether you like it or not. That's why they're one of the top 5 teams in the second in the Atlantic. So what that's going to leave the point totals, I'll update you myself before we end up closing out this minute 22. The Maple Leafs will have 55 points in the Atlantic. The Red Wings will stay at 39, and they're falling out of this playoff race fast, although I didn't expect them to be competing at this point. At this point in January, where it's kind of fallen off last year, they were not healthy this year, and that's not making excuses. They've had some poor games, but when you don't have Verona, you don't have Fabry, you don't have Bertuzzi, that's a lot of ammunition that you're missing. This Red Wings team could look a lot different, and maybe they'll look a lot different with the second year of Derek Lalonde's squad, but Steve Yzerman's still got a lot of work to do right now as far as this cap and moving things around, as he's still trying to get the Red Wings into a spot to where they need to be. They're not competitive yet. They brought in Andrew Kopp. They brought in Ben Sherratt, some of these other pieces, and a great one-year signing for Dominik Kubalik and 2 years for David Perron, but it's not enough just yet. Flashy glove save by Hellberg. He makes a save with 33 seconds left to go in the third by Kerfoot. So that's where your point standings are going to be. We'll give us some other finals as we'll probably close out. 6-5, I thought it was. They called the goal back there for the Wild and the Sabres. That one tied at 5 in OT. Kraken are going to take the win over the Sens. They're up 8-4 as we got 30 seconds left to go in our contest. Took a lively bounce off the inboards. Red Wings going to fall to 16, 15, and 7. The Maple Leafs will improve to 24, 9, and 7. They only have 9 regulation loss, which is the third fewest in the NHL. So I really don't understand why Maple Leafs fans like to panic, even though I know they're always in the news cycle. So they're going to end up winning the shot board at 29-23 unless the Red Wings can make any extra inventory to throw at the net of Ilya Samsonov with 20 seconds left to go, or just under thereabouts. So I appreciate you guys following along. It was John Tavares in the empty net for Mitch Marner and Justin Holl. It was his 18th, his 17th, and 18th in this game. The latest at 18-21 on the empty net. So a neutral zone draw should certainly do it. Toronto will probably dump this in. They don't have to do much as far as getting another shot on board unless they want to play to the end of the whistle. Michael Bunting did. He wanted to set that up in the middle pass there for David Kampf as that got knocked away, and the Maple Leafs will take their chances as Bunting tried to shoot it into the screen, but that's going to end it. It's a 4-1 final for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's probably what I expected, but it was another opportunity to recover a Wings game against a really good team, and the Red Wings fall again. This time the Maple Leafs 4-1. We'll get the game story to follow just in a little while. Peace, guys. I appreciate you following along. I'll talk to you next week. Patrick, I appreciate you following along, buddy. And we're going to sign off on the YouTube side as well. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Peace. We'll talk to you next week.